weird, right? So then you got that. So then you got the others being like, no, this is totally whatever. We have to save these kids that are getting their hearts ripped out and eaten, and we have to save these drug-addled teens that are blah blah, which is, you know what I mean? And then they go full bore, right, John? Like these freaking lunatics just go full bore, and.
But hey, but it did happen sometimes.
That's what I'm saying. Hey, I love you. That's my point here. That's my whole point here. It happens. And it's either, instead of choosing the A or the B, we all need to take 5 steps back, detach from it, and how disgusting it is, right? Whether true or not. Let's assume it's true, right? We can't just automatically, constantly, and that's what they want. Just like, not they, you know who I'm saying. Whatever, it doesn't matter.
Well, it's
to react.
It's kind of like
Billy Ray is in the house.
Yeah, what's up?
What's up? You guys hear me?
Yeah, you sound great.
I can from
Everybody
here.
on YouTube,
Yeah.
let us know you can hear.
Yeah.
Please, in the chat, appreciate it. So,
Billy gets upset, David, when they're always, and I do too. It makes me very angry when you have someone like Amazing Polly. If you ever see anybody open up their video on YouTube, and I've seen a few people do it recently, where they're like, "Oh hey," they're like, "Oh hey, I didn't see you there, just hanging out." Let's talk about Wayfair for a moment. And I'm like, you started the stream, like, Billy.
Oh hey, yeah.
Oh man.
But these people that like, they have the hubris to be like, Amazing Polly was like, well, because of my Wayfair video, which me and Billy thoroughly debunked that Wayfair Gate was a bunch of nonsense, and of course because of that I'm called a shill so much, even though I'm deeply researching the Finders and Franklin and stuff that is truly real that people just gloss over. Or one of the biggest ones they gloss over was the alleged molestation of Katie Johnson by Donald John Trump and Epstein. Yeah, they definitely gloss over that one because no one wants to look at their God Emperor as not being who they think he is. So they put a trust in man more than they put a trust in God. But I guess that's another another tangent to go on another thing. But she sits there and she's like, well, because of Wayfair and I broke the scandal, we're really winning wars against the deep state pedophile cabal. And I'm like, bitch, no, we ain't. Not because of you. What are you talking about? It's and people believe her. Like I had literally someone, David and Jim, and Billy, I shit you not. I had someone leave a comment because I rebutted Polly about her first Finders video very politely on the stream with my friend Suzanne because it was complete nonsense. All right, the stuff that a lot of the stuff that she, and I'm one of the foremost researchers. I know, like, she was finding something where, like, supposedly there was a guy who had the last name Hollowell, who worked at FSU that was caught in an underage scandal, and she was like, it's Hollowell's brother, and I was like, oh my god, that's huge, really? Like that's really huge. And then it turns out not to be the same person, or not Hollowell. I'm sorry, Ammerman. It was Ammerman's brother. And Ammerman was there's 2 guys arrested that were part of the Finders down there in Tallahassee in 1987. It was Douglas Edward Ammerman and James Michael Hollowell. So it was Ammerman's brother. That's right. And so I was like, this is big. I was gonna give her all the props in the world. Be like, hey, you actually, good job. You got something. But it turned out to be complete bunk. So I tried to get up with her on Twitter, and she was all, I'm gonna block you. You're a shill, And I was being very nice to her on Twitter and everything, and just trying to say, hey, I'm one of the foremost researchers in the Finders, and this is wrong. Like, here's reason why you're wrong. After doing the research and found out it was a different Ammerman, it wasn't Douglas's brother, and so she blocked me, and so I made a rebuttal video. So one of the comment section on the rebuttal video, literally, and I'm paraphrasing, you're either with Amazing Polly fighting against the deep state cabal, or you're against her and you're a pedophile yourself.
Wow.
and I'm like,
that's not logically valid.
Excuse me. I'm putting my life on the line to research the finders, and you're gonna say some bull crap like that? Really? So yeah.
Wow.
Deep.
I hate people like that.
I do too, Jim. It's ridiculous. But Billy, we get haters. We get haters when when you let the pit bull out of the cage, and I'm allowed to just tear up people's, cognitive dissonance and their preconceived notions. They get mad. You do it too, though. We both do it.
I don't do it. I just try to be really nice. But when I say things about, Trump or QAnon or viruses existing,
No shit. Fuck you, Kaufman. I mean, what?
then I have a problem for some reason, and everybody starts to hate. I don't understand it personally, but feel free to do as you wish.
I mean, Kaufman's a LARP.
I never said the words. Andrew
I'm just
Kaufman.
saying. No, I'm not talking about you. I'm just saying.
No, I'll say it.
With
Andrew
viruses not being real,
Andrew
people
Kaufman.
don't understand colloquial definitions apparently anymore. Like they're out the window for quote unquote theories. It's not like let's deny everything just to do it. Like because now I bought into it so hard, I got to deny everything. That's how it feels.
It's tough because like so much is a lie that you have to like. It's almost like guilty until proven innocent. So for everything that we've been taught, like you got to like look at it both ways.
The problem
You
with
know.
that is because of the history writers, they are always the winners of the last wars or whatever wars.
It's that knee-jerk reaction that we want to stay away from. Like we're like, "Fuck you, viruses aren't real," or "Fuck you, they're real." You always want to like kind of look at stuff before you, because that's never from a logic place.
But they don't hate those people as much as they hate us. Where I'm sitting here and I'm like, well, yeah, there is something to terrain theory in the way that you want to take care of your body, like your like the mucosal barrier of your digestive system.
Your pH levels.
Yes, but there are microbes that live in there, and yes, you can give those microbes to other people. They are, they're all living except for viruses. Viruses are just, DNA and RNA coded and capsid. But I'm sitting here and just by me literally just taking the middle of the road approach and saying, yeah, there's some issues with germ theory, but there's also issues with terrain theory. People are like, John Brisson's a shell.
Yeah.
Because he won't choose either or.
Yeah.
I'm like,
well, you must be a pedophile and my enemy if you don't believe in my germ theories, because you have to, or we have to believe all the same shit, or else I hate you.
When did the truth movement become the subjective truth movement, where it's my truths and us not searching for the objective truth of what's true or something
it's more than
that's
that,
happened?
man. Let me jump in here real quick. It's
go
more
ahead,
than that. It's become complete and total laziness, man. Complete and total laziness on behalf of the alternative community and the research that they do, and me included for a long, long time. Sitting there and taking people's words for shit. And then somebody, you see a video on YouTube that you subscribe to, and boom, you're in.
Yeah.
Right? And you're not asking for anything more. And even us here as hosts, right? Mm-hmm. We let people come to our shows and spit what they gotta spit. They say all their stuff, and we let them say it, and we don't push back at all.
Right.
Oh man, that's really interesting, dope, very cool. Thank you very much. Keep on going.
I've done it myself. Approach.
So many times, right?
I don't do it anymore. I don't think I ever did. I ever really do it. Most of the time.
And then the thing is, it's even more now that since I've started giving pushback, to a few people. I've been blocked on Twitter. I've been demonized by people. People call me a Freemason. All sorts of shit. It's incredible. Yeah. But the whole thing is, we can never. It's like we're damned if we do, we're damned if we don't. Straight up, like you push back on these people, and they're like, why are you pushing back? Why can't you just let people believe what they want to believe? And that's cool. There's a level though, right? Like once you surpass a level that it starts endangering people, then there's a problem in my opinion.
Yeah.
Right, and when you're trying to take people's money, like I've never charged anybody a damn thing for any show that I've ever done, and people came at me for coming at somebody that was trying to take $1,000 an hour to speak to you on Zoom. And so I mean that's what we're doing here. We're just incredibly lazy, and we're buying into stuff. I think it's a psychological operation that's going on here, and that we can trace back to like a Cambridge Analytica, and maybe even further than that. What's going on here?
It's like a data mining thing now. Like mixed in. It's a weird. Think about the money involved here, like, and who's really behind all this. Is crazy. It ain't just Rockefellers. It ain't just Rothschilds. Like, give me a break. There's new money in this game. There's tons of new money. People don't seem to understand that.
I agree.
I can push QAnon and get clicks. You know, I've already proven that. I actually have a episode of my channel, a live stream on my channel, literally me showing you people. This is before they talked about QAnon. This is after they talked about QAnon, and you can see, you know, the massive growth that can't be determined normally outside of it being push platformed, botted, you know, true believer hysteria, you know, all of that. You could see it clean as day. And then, you know, and the thing is the truth movement wasn't always like this. I mean, I've only, you know, been paying attention myself to being, you know, quote unquote awoke, whatever you want to say, awakened, whatever you want to say, since 2008. My father was long before then. I used to listen to Coast Sam. I don't remember it being like this, where, you know, I'm not going to talk about the show, but they had a guest who literally said no one has ever died in a war. No one has ever died in a war. I'm like, my biological great grandfather did. Like, what the hell?
No pushback.
You know?
No pushback. No pushback. They let that right go. Guy came in there and talked the nonsense, and they never said, "Oh, well, that's kind of hard to believe, dude," or something. Whoa, that's a little bit of a controversial idea. Give them something.
And the guy on the show is a military veteran, and he lets it go. A veteran lets it go.
But this is where we find ourselves right now, unfortunately. And everybody gets to push. You know, it's a disaster. I think what they've done to us and what they've done to the country and probably the world at this point is incredible. They've split everybody up like a pizza. We are right.
I don't see it.
Yeah, what do you guys think? What's up, Jim?
About splitting people up like a pizza?
Whatever, the whole thing. Feel free to disagree, man. I got thick skin. Don't worry about it. Go ahead.
Well, it's hard to say. It's a combination of all of it. I think there are groups that have tried to plan out 100 years in advance. I think, at least, you know, sort of script the reality, and I don't know how strong they are. It just depends on, you know, it's all interwoven. I can't say it's like one group or this or that. I think everybody's connected and just kind of like trying to surf the wave as best they can. There's not really a lot of white hats that can do anything. It's kind of like everybody's in a... The good guys and bad guys are sort of in a Bitcoin-style chain together, where I think it would collapse if you got rid of all the corruption, you know?
Yeah.
That's what would happen. Yeah. And it would be way worse than now, but I mean, maybe that's what's going on. This whole reorganization that the new age is what we're dealing with. So it's really hard to say. I think that most of our conspiracies have been made up, or they're 90% true, 99% true, and then they're made into like, oh, you know, like whatever the new thing is this week, like 9/11, no floors on 9/11, which I don't know if you guys have heard of that.
No, I never heard of that. What is it?
There's missing floors on 9/11.
Like those, like the buildings when they built them, they were pretty much like the empty boxes that a skyscraper would come in, right? And they had floors there, but they only had like the lobby, and then they had like, I went there in like 1994 or something like that, or 95, something like that. And I went on a tour, and it was like during the week. It was like on a Thursday or something. And it was this huge, like, 5 or 6 story lobby, and it was empty. And there are like ropes and there's like 2 or 3 people standing there, some security guards, and a little desk, and a bunch of elevators, like a ton of elevators, but only like one elevator that was open to the public, and there was like ropes there, and it was weird to me because like I didn't see a lot of. It just like tourists. It looked like, it didn't look like it was a functional office building. It was just kind of weird.
Right, I worked at the Trade Center for 2 years.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I never went past the 3rd floor because in reality there was no need for me to go past the 3rd floor. But I did go into the basement area, and it was a maze. Literally an entire city under there.
Oh yeah.
Literally, it was crazy. Now,
so like
I do know several people that worked in the towers or whatever, and one of them used to work in the 100 floors.
Okay.
Somewhere up in 100. He was there when the towers got hit, and got some people out, right?
So yeah,
I think if we go back, we can map out floor by floor what company was there. Those buildings were full.
So this was the theory that
right.
I mean, supposedly they left a lot of it empty. Like a majority of the building was empty because it was just so big that if they leased it out to businesses, then it would mess up the real estate market in Manhattan and screw with everybody's margins. So they were supposed to keep it, not rented out, just the same way that farmers rotate their crops and get paid to not farm for a year or whatever. So like that's the theory, and then the floors where they didn't have businesses were just empty. There wasn't anything in there, and that a lot of the companies, they either made up employees perhaps for insurance claim, or the people that were actually listed as employees that worked there, they're now living somewhere else, like in a Mystery Babylon or like Plus Ultra, some sort of secret society, Third Reich or something, on an island somewhere, John Galt, Atlas Shrugged sort of thing, like. So that that's pretty much a theory. So it was planned to be demolished, and it was all made up. So.
Yeah, theories like that are probably put forth just to muddy the waters.
Oh yeah.
From the actual,
But that's the thing is there's
that went down. What's up?
There's like a million theories for everything, and that's as soon as if there's one conspiracy, I think the people that in order to hide the conspiracy, you just make up variations, and then you put it all out there.
Well, I don't know. That whole conspiracy thing, my thing is that it's been one giant running conspiracy lie they've been feeding the public since the 50s, or I'd say the 50s, since the Cold War started right away. So right after World War II, it seems like it was just everybody kind of accepts it. It's like how we accept NASA. It's how we accept all this other shit, and all these people defend it so hard. It doesn't need a running lie. It does need a running lie, right? But they've got the people so duped and such true believers that it doesn't much matter. That they can almost give them that eye and say, no, these aren't the droids you're looking for, right? It's like the people automatically seem to just comply. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's almost like it's a weird, long-running inside joke almost, but it's an inside conspiracy, but it's all one crazy giant lie. Like I talked about it before, where it feels like there's a few things that took some pretty decent orchestration and people to keep their mouths shut, but other than that, it feels like it's just one giant kind of middle finger also, because like getting into more of the King Kill 33 and the not King Kill, but looking at numbers and everything like that again, it's gotten weird. It's weird. It's fun to look at. It's fascinating, but it's also extremely creepy if they have been planning this shit for so many years out.
I look at it David, that there's a certain there's nothing that's 100%, organic, and there's something that's 100% planned. It's like
Right.
there's nothing that's 100% real, except for God, and 100% fake. So you're always
Nature,
gonna have
yeah,
you're always gonna have those
yeah.
percentages in between of different events. 9/11 could be 60-40. So you're always gonna have these percentages. Most people now think everything is fake. The subjective reality. I only know what happened to me is true. I have no idea that there's any objectivity.
It's called modern day zeticism.
Yeah,
It's
or
like zetics in general.
Yeah.
It's like I only believe in what I can directly experience, which I find irresponsible to a degree. Don't you? I mean, yeah, it's
yes,
like
very much so.
yeah. Not
I
to
only-
disrespect it, but
I
much.
only believe outside of what I experience, but I also believe in things that have been validated by many times by many different sources. Once you have that and the sources show enough trustability, what Jimmy Jean on Into the Microcosm calls is agreement realities. I mean, that's really what it is.
It's crazy.
And there's some truth to that. And then once you destroy all those, you get postmodern modernism. I mean, that's where we're at this point, where someone can literally say no one's ever died in war, and anybody who's ever said that is perpetuating a lie for the Illuminati, and their souls are at stake, and they may burn in hell because they're perpetuating that lie. And it's like, well, hold up, I'm not. I mean, my biological, on my father's side, my grandmother's dad died in World War I. So what am I missing here? So what? Eventually, what does that lead to? Well, it's my belief that if you keep saying nothing is real and everything is fake except what I experience, that eventually that leads to there's no God. There's no creator higher than myself.
Yeah, I'm God.
There's no creation. Yeah, I'm God. It definitely, Jim. It leads to that. It leads to that type thinking, and it could be very poisonous. There's people who believe that no one died on 9/11. September clues, that was all faked and everything, and it's silly. So that's exactly where it gets us to. No one's died from COVID-19.
Here's some of the theories that we have now, right? Beyond what Brisson just said, right? We have Kobe Bryant's death was a ritual to kick off COVID-19. Literally, this is
Larry
a
Gaiters.
theory. This is a theory that people
Yep.
believe, and it's based on absolutely nothing. Nothing. It's just freaking
Corona,
putting
California.
things together that may or may not connect. And if they don't connect, what the hell? Let's just keep on moving. What's the other one? QAnon. Complete and total nonsense. Right? Who was the gentleman that died? It was Eric Gardner, right? That was the big one this year in 2020?
George Floyd, baby.
George Floyd. There you go. George Floyd was killed via a ritual for Kali. The goddess Kali.
That's a good one.
This is a thing. This is a
Larry
thing.
Gaiters.
Okay? This is a thing, and it's promoted all the way, super wide, all the way to the top levels of what we do here. No viruses. Viruses don't exist. A few months ago, no one was saying that, but now everybody's saying that. So we're chasing these leprechauns into the bushes, and when we get to the bushes, there's no leprechaun there. But we keep going, and we go across the rainbow, and there's no pot of gold, and there are no leprechauns there either. And we keep going, and we double down, and we triple down, and we quadruple down on Kobe Bryant. They killed Kobe Bryant to usher in
ritual
2020.
sacrifice.
It was a big ritual.
It was the Leprechauns. They killed Kobe.
But it does exist on the other side, though, because we have who we deem the sheep, using that term, that believe in everything being the standard narrative, that science is going to save them, that the government is going to save them, and
They have our best interest in mind.
yes.
Fucking
So-
great. That's
So we have true believer syndrome on both sides. You have people who say that that's why I call it the false dialectic. You have people on one side that will take COVID-19, for example, being like, we need a vaccine. The vaccine's going to save us. The masks work 100% of the time. Washing your hands perfectly all the time work 100% of the time. Staying home on lockdown works 100% of the time. Like take everything that the mainstream sources and the government is giving them, and they're like, yes, please, can I have some more? And then you have everybody on the other side. Oh, viruses don't even exist. I don't have to take any precautions or do anything to improve my health, to avoid getting COVID-19. If anybody says they've had it, they just had the cold or the flu, and no one's dying at all. It doesn't exist. And so, in my opinion, since those are a dueling false dialectic, and someone in the middle like me going, well, it's real, but it's probably not as bad as they're saying it is, and you should probably do these things to bolster your immune system, or do this if you get it. But the masks should be debated at whether or not they're effective or not. I'm called a shield immediately because I'm neither or. And so because of that, that's where we're at. It's my belief, and I think Billy would agree with me. I think you guys would agree with me too. But the people on both sides of that dialectic are driven by fear.
Right. I think you're absolutely right. It is driven by. I can't hear you. Whoa.
Can you hear me, Billy?
I can hear you now. Go ahead.
Yes, they're driven by fear. We're still on, Billy. Did we lose David?
No, my sound is going in and out. I just heard you right now.
But yeah,
I think I
believe
lost everybody else. I think it's just me and you.
we lost everyone.
I don't even know if we're still live, but in let me see. Anybody in the chat? Somebody in the chat. Let us know we're live.
Are we still live, Lee? Jolly?
Yeah, we are live. Yes. Sorry, I had to cut out for a second. What's up?
Oh, all right, back.
I'm back.
Yeah, a lot of this is driven by fear. People that can't handle it, but some of it is just straight bullshit. I hate to say it that way. It's just people looking for a come up, right? I mean,
it's true.
Plain and simple. They just want to be noticed, and they want to be quote unquote stars, right? So they'll go on and they'll talk about all types of pseudo nonsense, right? And then see where it takes them, and they'll continue to do it if it benefits them. And that's the end of it. It's really a sad state of affairs where we're at. And if you come out against these people that have amassed a serious amount of following, if you come out against them, you're the bad guy. You're the bad guy if you come out against. And there's more than one. There's 2, there's 3, there's 4, there's 5, there's 10, there's 20, there's 15. I mean, it could be up to 100 of these people. There's tons of them in our community that are putting out complete and total nonsense. And most of them, I want to say, I think they know they're putting out complete and total nonsense. Mm-hmm. Some of these people are real, and they're putting out stuff that they believe. But I think a lot of them, I don't want to say any names, but I think a lot of them are just putting out nonsense, and they know it's nonsense, and they just keep right on going.
I can think of a few off the top of my head that sometimes they got great connections, and sometimes they're just really stretches. And especially if they want to produce content every day that's new,
right?
Crazy conspiracy. You're just not gonna have something like that every day.
I don't mind naming shills. I can name shills.
I know you don't. You guys.
I mean, one thing to circle back to something David had mentioned earlier, the truth movement, if you really look at its inception, at least the modern days of the past, since the 1900s, was put forth by the John Birch Society, the Central Intelligence Agency, and Scientology.
Wow. Yeah.
So, I mean, when even if you go back as far as the OSS, so when did we? I mean, if you really research the origins, that's where it all comes from. So what Recluse calls, and me and Josh Reeves and Recluse and the Antidote Boy call it, and even Billy call it the secret right or the hidden right. Yeah. Neil Sanders and everybody else. So
did you say Reich?
What were you saying, Jim?
Did you say Reich?
Right.
Right.
R-I-G-H-T.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you know, it's interesting because when you look at all the information that we have on biological warfare, that came out of like Operation Seafoam, where they were spraying Serratia marsens on the South San Francisco Bay Area, and in like the modern day equivalents of the 60s and 70s, all the Freedom of Information Act requests to the government to understand of biological campaigns that were done on American citizens during that time period. When I was doing my research on Operation Infection, which was Russia claiming that the United States was the origin of the HIV virus through Fort Detrick, it turns out that it was Scientology that did all those Freedom of Information Act requests that I came upon. Wow. It was even talked about by the CIA and Operation Infection, the paper that I had written read that was done by someone during the 1980s, and it was a CIA consultant that was doing it. And as I went back and looked, and sure enough, yeah, they were.
Wow.
So, I mean, what else is there to say about it? I mean, it's all there.
Who would have thought that L. Ron was telling the truth when he said he was a spook? You know, or
I mean, Spellcasters Volume 1, Josh Reese pretty much lays it all out there.
What?
So
that's crazy. That's awesome.
But yeah, the Truth Movement, John Birch Society. You know, I had Gary Allen was up there. None dare call it a conspiracy. You know, he was talking about giving a speech on the Fabian Socialists, and he was talking about how, well, they're not the true liberals. You know, I'm the true liberal. It's like, oh, I thought you were a conservative. Okay, I'm a little confused there. And then he goes on. He's like, what it doesn't tell you is that he was an advisor for the Hunt family. Well, the Hunt family, who were, you know, founders of the John Birch Society and the Council for National Policy, they were the ones who supposedly murdered JFK down there in Dallas. They had the wanted for treason posters put up in Dallas. What's his name? Officer J.D. Tippett in Dallas was the head of the John Birch Society in Dallas. So it's interesting. Did we lose Billy? I was gonna ask him to jump in here. I think we lost him.
Sorry, am I here? There we go. Sorry.
You're good, Abe.
Sorry about that.
It's all right. We understand the way things go.
Nature did call, so we were on a roll there.
Yeah, that's awesome. I like the.
So,
go ahead.
No, sorry, Jim. You go. I'm just trying to get back in here. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm not Canadian. John.
Oh, you're not sorry? Not sorry? Try to see what happened to Billy. So what do you guys think about the Truth Movement and how bad it is?
I think Charlie Robinson brought up a really good point last week, and it's made me look at it a little bit differently, actually. And that would be, we need to look at it a little bit along the lines of, at least we have some people that are awake now to the point where they weren't before, right? Where they weren't hip to things. They weren't necessarily looking at the, you know, ugly realities of certain things, that whether they are salacious or necessarily true or true by who, you know what I'm saying? We know this kind of shit is going on, so at least these people are, you know, at least it's not for some bad cause, it's for a good cause, right? But at the same time, it's like, I'm gonna look at it as a positive. Using the wrong keyboard.
We lost.
I'm looking. Sorry.
Lost your picture.
What?
We lost your image.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Sorry about that, guys. Anyway.
It's all right.
But yeah, I think it's a positive thing, the fact that more people are awake, more people are paying attention to these sorts of things. So eventually, hopefully, they'll, you know, LARPing's fun, right, guys? Like, I get it. I get why it's popular. I get why it's obnoxious, because bugs the shit out of me because people, well, obviously, John, real researchers like you, real researchers, all over, authors, it's a lot of our favorite people, right? They get thrown into the same trough. It's not fair. It's just not. I mean, that's the obvious beef here with it. But Charlie did bring up the point where, like, hey, if we do have to look at it a little bit differently because they're going to realize that eventually trust the plan isn't enough. So people are going to start throwing tomatoes, and I'm shocked they haven't already. So, like, I'm honestly shocked. This is their bread and circus. This is why the NFL the ratings are absolutely in the just doldrums, right? The only reason people pay attention is for freaking fantasy. Let's be realistic. It's for fantasy these days. That is what's driving this sports betting. It's not the product on the field, for Christ's sake. So I think it's honestly like it's a sort of Damocles, it's a weird thing. And I think I'm seeing it happen with I'm not going to name names here right now yet, but I'm just saying, like, there's people that I follow on Twitter and that I never would expect them to, whatever, that aren't my level, and they're coming around. People, I'm like, oh man, you bought into this too. Do you know what I mean? Like, let me, I just want to grab them by the shoulders and be like, no. You've been on the right path for so many years, and now you're really going to fall prey to this? Like, you're smarter than this. Devlin, I don't want to drop names. Devlin's one of them.
I know.
I'm not close with Devlin. I love him. But I'm saying...
No, I was going to say, I mean, David, I interrupt you, but I did a series about Devlin on my channel, and when Billy did the excellent Shoot the Moon conference down there in NYC, I think you're back, Billy, now. I think I see you, but
I'm here.
Thanks to you, brother, for having me. My first conference I ever spoke to. I will never forget it. And I actually got to meet your punk ass. But anyway, the thing is I met Devlin down there, and I like Devlin's presentation and stuff. But then, not only does Devlin now push QAnon, he pushes Charlie Freak's version of QAnon. And the thing is, I see Devlin have the mental break when he's like, well, Charlie Freak says that Boris Johnson is under Trump's control, but I know Boris Johnson is a complete, dictatorial fascist. So, like, he has you can hear the gears going in his head, and I'm like, come on, Devlin. Like, I get it. Freak's your friend. I understand that. But if I had a really good personal friend that was spouting the nonsense that Freak's, spouting, I would not put them on We Read the Documents. Ain't gonna happen. And if it does happen, if it does somehow manage to happen, I'm gonna sit there and say to a person's face, what you smoking? What the hell are you smoking? Because Charlie Freak is the worst. Like, there's levels of the QAnon mythos and belief system, all right? Charlie Freak's the craziest of one of the craziest of the crazies. So,
let me jump in here real quick. About when I dropped off, I was still listening, and I heard what was it that you said, brother? Well, Barski was talking, and I think he said something that at the very least we have people that are awake. Dude, that's not enough. Right. Yeah. So these people wake up, quote unquote, right, for lack of a better term, and then what do they do with it? Right. They go and they think they've made some type of revelation, and to them it is a revelation, right? But they're like, oh my God, the New World Order. There's people trying to run the world, right? And they run with it, and then they're like, QAnon, right? And then well, at least they're awake and at least they're researching. No. This is
it's cult level. You're right. I know what you mean, bro.
Not only that, bro. It's counterproductive.
I agree.
They may know all of this stuff, right? They may know all of this stuff, but what are they doing with it? And then they use it against us. And what happens here is, right? We'll go 4 years or whatever with Donald Trump, and nothing, an extra 4 years, and nothing will happen. You know what the reaction's gonna be? They're going to detach from the alternative community and reinvest themselves into the mainstream again, and they're gonna be like, all of that was nonsense. Donald Trump didn't do anything. They're not gonna stay with us.
You're right. Through the years, now thinking about it, damn, dude,
we were in a hell of a
Billy.
position when it was Hillary Clinton versus Donald Trump.
Or even when Obama was in office.
Right,
We were
that's better,
scoring
actually.
victories left and right, Billy.
We were
It
in a
was
hell of a
time.
position. We were pushing forward. We were gaining some ground, and people were understanding. If Hillary Clinton would have gotten in there, we all would have been like, whoa, like they're clearly running things, end of the world. And now look at it. Now what it is we got our man in there, and he's fighting them. And
Just postpones the inevitable.
man, we got issues is the bottom line of it, and at the end of this, it's not gonna come out good. It's not good enough just to know these things. It's not good enough just to research. What good is it if you're going down a rabbit hole, but you're going down the wrong one, and there's a giant spider at the end of it, and you're done, right? That's what it is. That's what these people are doing. This is not good for anyone. So I just want to make sure people know that, like, just because they're researching doesn't mean anything. They are being used against the alternative community at the end of the day.
Yeah, like I'm taking time of myself, and you guys, everybody here is researching and investigating the true world order. I'm taking time out of my day to refute the people that believe the QAnon nonsense. Like it's literally taking away from me to go, look, these people are wrong, and here's why they're wrong. And yes, and I'm still explaining the world order, but it's still like I'm fighting people that are supposed to be in the truth movement and quote unquote on my side, my brothers, and they're not because they bought a lie. And yes, some of them are, a lot of them are patriots. A lot of them mean well. They've been duped. Hell, I was duped. I voted for Trump. How stupid was I? But the thing is, I realize that now, and I'm like, hey, I didn't know about the Council for National Policy that's behind Trump. I didn't know they existed. It's because Alex Jones is a member of them. So when I was listening to Alex Jones, of course, he wouldn't tell me about them because he's a member. So. And I should have known better. Like in 2014, I used to say that the next president was going to milk the golden calf of the United States to its complete, the golden Bessie, should I say? The United States, it's barely hanging on. It's, ribs are poking out. It's about to die, and this president's going to milk it to its death. That's what's happening. That's straight up what's happening.
Yeah. Well, we were on our way out, so you might as well milk it to its death, I guess. It's not going to give you anything more unless you pull more out. I mean, that's probably the mindset, but I agree with you there.
I mean, Billy, what are you seeing? I mean,
in regards
Jim,
to what?
David, what do you guys? I mean, as far as QAnon, like, what are you guys seeing about it?
Dude, it's a tool for division, plain and simple. That is
it feels
the
like
end.
a banning op.
It's a tool for division, plain and simple. That's what it is. We can go down and try to figure out where it came from and the whole deal. The bottom line is this: they're dividing us at every turn. They're dividing us in the mainstream. They're dividing us in the alternative community. They're dividing us by race. They're dividing us by gender. It's just division. That's the name of the freaking game at this point. It's division, division, division. There's no multiplication. There's no addition. There's no subtraction. There is only division. There is only division. That is the ultimate tool. And Donald Trump is the main agent of division. And QAnon is an instrument for division. Black Lives Matter is an instrument for division. All of this stuff.
This is some straight up Michael, like A. Hoffman. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is it? The book, the 92 book. It's just like it. Ed Crow's been talking about it lately with Jason Lindgren. Michael A. Hoffman from James Shelby Downer, all that stuff, and how it's played out like that. It's spot on. Michael A. Hoffman recently just said just that. He's like, be very aware of factions within putting out disinformation and garbage information, and it's happening right now with Q. So there you go. To divide, just to keep it.
There used to be truthers,
cut and dry.
And now there are truthers and Trumpers, or Qers and non-Qers, or
it's just another little shithead identity to cling to. It's like another just silly fashion. It's ridiculous.
There are tribes and out groups and in groups. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when you're trying to study QAnon, it's like, okay, so, you know, did it originated initially with FBI Anon and Brooke the Scribe and Pamphlet Anon and Tracy Beans? Did it originate with them? Did the CNP and all the
Dude, it's higher level, man.
Did the CNP and all the various operatives, did they grab onto it later? Did they start it from the very beginning? You know, I lean towards they started to the very beginning, and the people that I mentioned earlier, they were just, you know, pawns in the game, some knowing and willing, some, you know, not, you know, some, you know, true believers that thought they were, you know, doing something or whatever, useful idiots, whatever you want to call them. And it's my belief that there were many people involved in the QAnon operation through like a hierarchy. You know, you have probably General Michael Flynn and his family, Stanley McChrystal, four-star General Stanley McChrystal. You also have Steve K. Bannon, Ezra Cohen Watnick. I mean, Jerome Corsi. Alex Jones for a time until him and Jerome got caught, and Alex Jones said the Q's an AI. Thomas Schoenberger, you know, just like all these people, you know, like the people I mentioned earlier. You have more than that. You have, you know, Dylan Lewis Monroe. You have Jordan Safer. You know, some modern pushers.
Start on Sather and those pieces of trash over there.
Some of the beginning. You know, like someone needs to make, and I've been trying to work on it in my head, like a hierarchy chart of like, okay, so this is when these people joined, and this is what these people did. You know, and I do believe that there were numerous amounts of grifters. Yeah, Lee in the chat. You know, Dustin Nemos, Robert David Steele. John D'Souza, SGT Report, X22,
a lot of these people, John, I'm sorry to interrupt you, buddy, but a lot of these people are right under the spell, just like we are. They're not intimately connected, in my opinion, like an SGT Report. I think that dude literally believes what he is saying, and he came up and yeah, he's gotten paid off of it, meaning he has hundreds of thousands of subs and a lot of listeners. But there's a lot that we can point to that are that way in the community. I don't think he's intimately involved, though. I think he's just really believes it and is pushing it. I don't know if you disagree. It's fine if you
well, maybe not SGT Report per se, but I do know Jordan Sather, because I've seen Sather have moments of self-reflection where he goes away for, and I've talked about it on my channel with Lee Veltman, John and Lee show Wednesday nights at 8. We'll get some shameless plugs in there.
Damn right, take them all night.
I've seen Sather go away for a bit when it seems like he's realized that he is spouting complete utter bullshit to his audience, especially on vaccines. When Sather's very much against vaccinations, and he's still, you know, trying to wave that line of, well, the Trump vaccine, it's all optics and, you know, pushing the ball forward, that it's never going to happen, you know, and you can see the times in his face where he goes away for a while and he just doesn't want to spew the bullshit. But he's likely getting paid. He's likely has connections to Jay-Z Knight. You know, Jay-Z Knight, the School of Rantham School of Enlightenment, was pushing both Nasara and Gassara through the Dove of Oneness back in the 90s, and now QAnon now. And so, you know, Sather knows exactly what the hell he's doing, Billy. And he has those moments of, I can see it in his face.
Well, Sather's gone as far as to say that he speaks to QAnon, and that QAnon has told him certain things or whatever. You know,
now, I won't believe he is a true believer when it comes to selling miracle mineral solution, MMS bullcrap. You know, me and the alternative medicine, MMS is a bunch of gold. But I do believe that he's a true believer when it comes to that, to a fault.
MMS?
But I do think the QAnon's... Yeah, MMS.
You really think he believes that shit? Really?
The MMS, I do, yes. I really do believe that he's a true believer when it comes to MMS, yeah. Because there's not one time I've seen him self-reflect on MMS. He really believes that it works.
It just seems like such an obvious load of shit to me that anybody to even take that to another level than its base right there is, I don't understand.
There's quite a few people in the natural health field that believe in miracle mineral solution, MMS, chlorine dioxide. I don't. I've never never advocated for it. I always looked at it very skeptically. There were other agents that could be used with great benefit.
I've had a lot of help with DMSO,
sulfur.
Yeah, that stuff works really. Like if you have a bruise, it'll make. I slipped in a hotel room and out of the shower and hit my back and had this horrible bruise, and it hurt and it was all swollen, and it was like 2 or 3 days and it was gone.
Yeah, dimethyl sulfoxide or DMSO. But you do have to be careful with that too. But it does work. It is sulfur.
Yeah.
It improves collagen production.
Can't use it more than a couple times a day.
There are medical uses for it, like you had mentioned, Jim. So I mean, there's a big difference between DMSO, for example, and MMS. MMS is complete bullcrap. Your body needs sulfur. It's a useful mineral. You're getting it when you take dimethyl sulfur oxide. I mean, you're getting it when you take DMSO. So it serves a purpose. Like DMSO serves a legitimate purpose because your body needs sulfur as a necessary mineral for collagen production and hydrogen sulfide production later as a very minute amount as a mitochondrial signaler. So, but there's no function for chlorine dioxide. It doesn't serve a purpose of taking bleach.
Yeah.
It's silly.
I get it. Yeah, that's like drinking rubbing alcohol to get the cleaning effects of rubbing it on the surface of a table.
Yes.
That's absurd. That's just so wild to me, dude. Just doesn't add up. I don't know how anybody could push. And then like also the same. It's like the same line of people that would think that shit's legit are the same people that would have got syringes and shot themselves up with bleach or something like that when Trump said that nonsense.
And Jordan said they're pushing hydroxychloroquine because Trump said so. And I'm like, Bo, you got chiropractic training. You distrust big pharma. You're going to shield for hydroxychloroquine, which has multiple neurological and psychological side effects that was even warned by the Quintism Foundation not to be taken. I mean, look, Remdesivir is bullcrap too. They both are. If you want to know a good protocol that works for that's actually put forth by doctors that works very well if you're ever hospitalized for COVID, that's the MAP Plus protocol, which uses corticosteroids intravenously when needed, heparin intravenously, or a shot of heparin, should I say, and intravenous, vitamin C, intravenous thiamine, which is vitamin B1, melatonin. Like it's like the best of conventional with the best of alternative put together as a treatment protocol for COVID that's put forth by doctors. That's what should be done. But when do we start trusting the FDA and hydroxychloroquine and Remdesivir? The left loves their Remdesivir so much.
Yeah, I think
crap garbage.
I think he was drawing a line between himself and everybody else, but he's on the Q side. Jordan Sather, when he's recommending the Trump hydroxychloroquine, hydroxychloroquine, yeah.
That's another thing that I just can't stand. I can't understand for the life of me. All of a sudden, everybody knows about all these medications and knows what does what. Everybody's like, oh, it's Remdesivir or hydroxychloroquine. It's been politicized. So you hear all of the right pushing hydroxychloroquine. Like, what do you know about this medicine?
Yeah.
What do you know? Like, really?
Anti-malaria drug. My mom had permanent damage, actually, from taking it years ago.
That sucks.
Yeah, nothing too crazy, but enough to be like, she's like, it screwed up my vision in her left eye for like 3 years. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Did I say permanent damage? I'm sorry if I did. Had temporary damage, what have you. That's enough to...
Temporary permanent damage is no joke.
I mean, it could cause QT prolongation of your heartbeat, especially if you're predisposed to having QT prolongation or medicines that can cause QT prolongation. Or, if you're predisposed to having arrhythmias. And it's like, oh, don't worry. Trump says it's fine. I'm going to take some hydroxychloroquine. It's all good. And I'm like, you probably shouldn't. I get called a shill. It's because I'm like, this drug has numerous side effects. Like, you can go to the drug insert and read them and yourself. And I did a stream just pointing it out to people going, look, for neither one of them, the pharmaceutical companies are getting kickbacks. The government's buying these drugs in buttload. All right, here are the drug inserts for both. here are the side effects for both. Here frequent are those side effects, and I wouldn't touch either one of them. And you know what? I get called a shill because Trump says hydroxychloroquine is safe. The right-wing media shills that it's safe. Therefore, it's safe.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's science. Don't you listen to the science?
Yeah, don't you believe in
They
science?
tell you every day on TV. The TV said.
How dare you deny science? I mean, come on, guys. Let's get it together.
Why would Fauci lie?
What are you talking about? The right? Conspiracy theorists?
Dude, no.
Because they want me to believe the science, too. The science of hydroxychloroquine is safe. So.
And there's that. Yeah.
Well,
Trust what science? What version?
A lot of things don't immediately kill you.
Yeah.
This is true.
Very true.
That's why they put what isn't it in like every bit of Frito-Lay, everything, like just the minimal human the minimal amount a human can consume of like whatever toxic frickin' waste the giant the people that want to the people that want to carbon tax us for our dirty cars, they can't dump all that at once and into the nearby rivers down the street. So let's just put it in our food supply, and
plus embryonic livers.
Yeah.
Liver cells, synthetic embryonic, is it livers for flavor?
How many microparticulates of plastic does the average human consume a day?
Oh, so
John, I
much.
wonder if you know
Yeah.
that.
Not offhand the amount, but I mean, like we are. The thing is, but then again, you can't worry about that too much because it'll drive you insane.
Yeah.
Like there's like a balance of both. Like you guys, you do buy less harm. So like I try to eat organic as much as I possibly can. I usually don't drink bottled water, even though I have some in here with me tonight because I'm out here. I didn't get enough chance to use my reverse osmosis system and put water in it. I didn't have time. So right out here, you look at the parts per million of how much plastic's in water. I drink Deer Park, which is one of the lesser ones. There's some that are a lot more. It's not perfect. I think the perfect one that had the lowest parts per million, if I remember, was I want to say was a Crystal Geyser or Poland Spring. It was one of those two. You can go look it up yourself. But I
Probably Crystal Geyser.
I think it is.
I drink that from time to time. It's pretty good.
But the thing is we're like when you get in your car, how many volatile organic compounds are you like breathing in?
Oh yeah.
Every time you get inside your hot car.
Exactly.
Or a new apartment or house, all the chemicals and
Aquapana. That's the good stuff.
everything
Aquapana.
pouring off.
We can find it. Or,
Billy, we know about our water. Aquapana's some good stuff. Gotta get in the glass. They've been starting to put it in the plastic.
They do have it in plastic now. You're right, but I get the glass one still. Or what is it? Mountain Valley.
Oh, I love Mountain Valley.
The green bottle, Mountain Valley.
Yes,
right.
That's
Mountain
the best
Valley.
shit ever. Mineral water, I get that. Yep.
So
All
now
day.
we're gonna have discussions of me and Billy Ray Valentine's water research. And,
Dude,
I'm pretty sure people want to.
Mountain Valley's the joint all day. That's reasonably priced too. That's my
It's a
jam.
bit expensive for water, but I'll buy it regardless.
So
Depending, you can find it on sale sometimes.
I've got a
sure.
little electric still, so I distill my water, but it's it'll do like, I don't know, like maybe 3/4 of a gallon. It takes like 18 hours or 12 hours. What do you think of distilled water? Is it too pure? I've heard people say that.
I'm going to defer to Brisson on this because from what I understand, and tell me if I'm wrong, Brisson, that you're not really supposed to drink distilled water after a certain amount of time, like maybe 10 days, 15 days, because it cleans you out.
I look at what Jack Cruz says, which means that the cleaner the water, the best, distilled or reverse osmosis. And yeah, it's going to leach, a little bit of electrolytes from you because of the fluid exchange balance, because there isn't any in there compared to if you were drinking spring water. However, if you salt your food very well and eat a very good diet, it really doesn't matter from what I've seen. Now, reverse osmosis water can be a little bit on the acidic side. Now, I don't believe in acid alkaline diet nonsense. That's a bunch of bull. All right. But ingesting acidic water can usually improve digestion, but it can, for some people, cause irritation too. But it's not that acidic. It's usually between 5 and 7 in the pH, 7 being neutral for reverse osmosis. So it really just depends on the person. Generally, if the person drinks reverse osmosis water, they start having depleting of nutrients and start getting kidney stones or whatever, their diet probably wasn't healthy to begin with. They probably weren't using real salt. They probably weren't eating a lot of, varied foods. They're probably eating, much junk. So, you drinking distilled water is perfectly fine, Jim, as long as you're putting real salt on your food. I like real salt out of Utah, and the Utah mines in the United States. I think it's some of the best salt that you can get. And I drink reverse osmosis, and it takes the minerals out of it, but I've had no problems. And again, it's like what Jack Cruz says: the purer the water it gets into your body and gets into your mitochondria, that's what matters the most, is the water's purity. Now, we can argue all day long about the structure of water, which is very important in my opinion. You want to structure your water, or adding minerals to your water, which some people say adding minerals to your water back reduces and interferes with the structure of the water. Like Jared Pollock would say that. So, it's my adage is always something I recommend on Fix Your Gut is reverse osmosis or distilled water, and then just make sure that you salt your food very well. When you're drinking the water, you're eating the food has salt. That's what I would do.
I eat a lot of junk food too, like this. I love these ones.
Triscuits.
They're delicious.
Now, is the wheat in the Triscuit? Now, is the wheat in the Triscuit fortified with iron? Does it say it look on the box and the ingredients? Let me know. Does it say enriched iron?
No.
Okay, then you at least got that going for you. Still probably sprayed with a crap ton of glyphosate though, to try to get organic Triscuits if you all possibly can. But at least you don't have the micro particulates of iron poking holes in your gut, because when we eat iron, we don't eat it in its mineral form. Iron is very is very in the human body. It's bonded to many different types of transporting proteins like ferritin and transferritin, to name a few. So the body binds iron, whatever, and then it releases it whenever it's necessary in that moment. For example, like the production of hemoglobin, or I guess should I say the iron molecules forming heme, part of the rings to bind oxygen and move it, or carbon dioxide and move it. But the body uses iron like that exact moment, because if it doesn't, iron oxidizes quite quickly.
And it's not iron.
So, when you eat iron in food, it's either bonded to heme or hemoglobin. Hemoglobin, complete complex molecules, is heme is part of hemoglobin. When you're eating it in animals, and if you're eating it in plants, it's bonded to phytic acid. So, yeah, I mean.
What? So do they add iron to wheat?
Most wheat in the United States, unless listed as, has iron fortified to it, which is ferrous sulfate, and it's unbonded iron. And you can actually take Cheerios if you want to do an interesting scientific experiment. Just crush it up in a bag very fine. And you can take a magnet and you can pull the iron fillings out of the Cheerios. So imagine what that unbonded iron is doing.
Wow!
Just lining up your digestive tract.
This is what John Brisson does for fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, think about your torus. Your electromagnetic field is gonna be affected by these Cheerios, right?
Well, also by the amount of iron you carry. Jack Cruz writes a lot about that, of having high and Morley Robbins too, having high ferritin levels, especially with men. We don't get our monthly periods. We don't get the bloodlet, so we carry a lot of iron in us, because the only way we expel iron is either through bowel movements or semen. We don't bleed. So the iron that we ingest, unless our body expels it, we can start building it up. So you can start having high ferritin levels, which are high iron storage levels, and that can actually start interfering, make you more attractive to non-native EMF, and start affecting your own EMF. Because we are electrical chemical beings, we do generate our own electromagnetic. Heart generates our own electromagnetic
field goes out,
around us. So the thing is, if you're carrying all this excess iron, well, you're attracting the non-native EMF fields from your Wi-Fi router more directly to you, because you're carrying around all this iron that, even bounded iron, even ferritin, it's going to attract it. So, ferritin is a huge marker for inflammation, even in conventional terms.
What's your take on shungite when you're done? Sorry.
And so when you're looking at the iron, you always want to keep it. And this is what Morley Robbins says. And I'm not a doctor. Okay, ask your doctor right about it, your healthcare professional if you take any information from it. All right, but I will say, you look into the work of Morley Robbins too. You want to keep your ferritin levels, male or female, around 100 or below, especially if you're male, because you don't want to carry that excess bounded iron, which is a cause of inflammation.
How do you test that?
Starts inflamming. It's a simple blood test. Just go get your iron panel done. Ask your doctor to test my iron, test my ferritin, and it'll come up. But your body stores a lot of that ferritin in your liver, so it causes a lot of liver inflammation and slow down. A lot of our liver detoxes a lot of our toxins and dumps it into our bile, which those toxins end up mingling with the food that we eat through our bile. And we end up excreting those toxins, and the bile gets reabsorbed back through hepatic recirculation, a majority of it at the end of the ileum, which is the last of the small intestine, back into the liver. So, all right, I'm sorry, I'm not going to bore you guys with this. I'm sorry.
One last question though, why did they add that kind of ferric to Cheerios? Why did they add unabsorbable levels of iron to Cheerios and other foods that have wheat, and when it's got such a negative effect of bringing up our iron levels and everything that you said?
Because of anemia, we got to prevent anemia. That's why.
So it's just for numbers on a box, so they can say high.
The blood test, yes.
High.
Yes.
So I mean, even if you're eating large chunks of it, magnet could pick up, it still absorbs into your body.
Yes, eventually some of it does. A lot of it's eaten by the microbes in your gut that like iron because they need it as much as you do.
I get it.
So the bacteria are like iron.
Then it's in there forever.
And then so they end up processing the iron. You can process the element you can process the elemental iron. You can process the mineral iron. However, a lot of it's very caustic. So some of it will go to your own iron storages. Like if you take any iron supplement, that will happen. But it will also cause a lot of inflammation and damage of it being unbonded iron. Now, granted, ferrous sulfate is iron bonded to sulfur, but the sulfur breaks off because the body's able to digest sulfur
Break
very
it
easily.
down,
yeah. Yeah, and so you're kind of left with unbonded iron until the body's able to bond it up with ferritin, for example. So that ends up lying problem with it.
Then you can process and get it out. So basically, it's just something that clogs you up with too much iron, which can cause inflammation and a bunch of other health problems.
Yes.
I get it. Yeah. Freaking terrible.
Yes, it's not good.
It's terrible.
They put folic acid in the grains too. It's like, okay, why didn't you just put folate? But that's just another discussion.
Like baby formula, it's high in calcium because it's marble ground up like rock.
Calcium carbonate usually is what.
Yeah, calcium carbonate. Pretty much, I mean, I could think of better things to give to a baby than calcium carbonate.
And the thing is you can, your body can use the minerals like that. Like I take magnesium, for example, and it's chelated and it works very well for me. The problem is these minerals have to be used appropriately. So when you're giving someone calcium carbonate, reduces stomach acid. It's why it's in Tums.
Yeah.
It's very alkaline. And if you don't have proper levels of vitamin K2 or vitamin D in you, that calcium can end up in your arteries, in your soft tissues, instead of in your bones like it should be.
And it'll harden up your pineal gland and your arteries and stuff, perhaps.
Yep. Wow. And so it ends up being a problem. So, and like all this, you need balance. Like most doctors only get like one class of nutrition, if that. They have no idea about nutrition. And a lot of nutritionists sadly don't either. Which is funny. I think they would. But some do. I've met good nutritionists, don't get me wrong. Now David asked me, what about shungite? Talking about like orgone?
It falls into that category. Kind of, I guess.
To block EMFs, is that what you're
asking? Not to
asking?
necessarily block it, but I'll tell you this. I ordered a chunk of elite shungite, which is supposedly a little more absorbed. I don't know. It's just a better quality, I guess, from all the research that I had done. And I got it, and there was like I read what people were writing for reviews, obviously, and there's a ton of them, and they all not pretty good stars here, whatever amount of stars, and tons of reviews, all nothing crazy, like not when you read about Orgonite, you know what I mean, like you read it like, oh, what is, yeah, right, they're like, this is BS, this doesn't work, whatever, it's not real copper, I've broken it down, this is legit, and it comes with a certificate from the mine, you know what I mean, in Karelia, I believe it is, Russia, and blah blah blah. Point is I didn't necessarily feel anything when I put it on, whatever, it's a big chunk, but I wear it every day, all the time. And I found that when this is something crazy, and it's the first time it's ever happened with any kind of anything like this, really. Like, I have an Orgonite piece, I have, you know what I mean, just whatever, a few different things. And I remember trying to fall asleep really, really hard one night, and I just couldn't. And then I remember taking it for some reason, like, just take it off and just hold it. I was holding it for some reason, I just was like, whatever. Fell asleep within 5 minutes. Literally, like, fell into like this weird and every single time since then, it's kind of, I've had this like weird, it like wipes my brain almost in like a really positive way. It's hard as hell to explain, but it does, and it works whether I like it or not. It's like I've already forgotten about what my mind was, racing on or whatever it is. It doesn't really matter. If I've found it to be extremely, extremely effective. So I don't know.
Billy, you want to get on? You want to get in here before I say something? No, Billy's.
I don't know if he's there. Oh yeah, he should be.
My God, he's bathroom. Okay, so Billy, so you can say something, whatever. Come back, you can interrupt me. And a Shungai, yeah, I mean, okay, so I used to back during my Gnostic days. Entertain Orgo, because I didn't know that Wilhelm Reich, and it was Michael Joseph who woke me up to Wilhelm Reich. Thank you, Michael, for doing this. And he woke me up to the heresy of Gnosticism. That in modern form, it seems to be funded by the Rockefellers and pushed forth by the Rockefellers, but that's for another topic. So I didn't know, because it's been hidden, I guess, that Wilhelm Reich is a very disturbed individual in his own writings, in his own words, and was a pedophile.
Yeah. Insane.
And I know most people in the alternative media would get very upset for you mentioning that, because they believe in Orgon. He said in his book, and I have the quotes, I'd have to dig them out of my OneDrive, of the book that he wrote about Christ. And he literally talks about that Orgone energy, and I'm paraphrasing here, but I can get the exact quote, is from the innocence of children, but not the innocence like, oh, the flowers and the,
no, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Children,
you don't have to say anything else, but if you want to, you might as well.
Yeah, I'll say it.
But yes, pretty much that it comes from.
I know, just don't. It's okay, but I know exactly what it means from studying Crowley and things like that.
Yeah, I was about to say from a Crowley standpoint.
Yeah.
That's how I was gonna. That's how I was actually what I was gonna say to try to sum it up, David.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, I mean, it comes out of the man's own mouth. I mean, what am I supposed to do with this?
Exactly. That's in the exact. Yeah. No.
So then also, when he was a teenager, he would love to get off molesting his female horses.
Wow.
Reich was disturbed, and he writes about that in his journals. And I'm like,
I never heard that part.
Was he that close with Young? Do you know?
Yeah, they all were. They had this Michael Joseph talked about it, how someone who studied under, and that's why William Reich, they claimed he was going to town because the FDA and the government was after him, right? And it wasn't. It was because he was going down, he was held in these basement where they had children down there.
Oh,
and they were teaching the children about masturbation, all right?
Masturbation Fight Club.
And that's why they were going from town to town, because someone would find out about it and they would be run out of town.
Run the hell out, yeah.
Yeah. So and so supposedly, I have to get the name of it. I got all the research in my OneDrive for Wilhelm Reich. I was actually going to do a whole series on Wilhelm Reich. I need to. I actually had Michael Joseph come on and talk about it some. There was a woman who studied. They called themselves. It was like the club that all the psychologists got together and had got together at the time. I forgot what it was called. And they would meet. And so one of Wilhelm Reich's students was this female psychologist, and she became like the psychologist and the tutor to Stalin's children. And Stalin threw her out supposedly because she was molesting the kids.
Good Lord, man.
Stalin's a horrible human being, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that, but it's just ridiculous. So if you go to the Wilhelm Reich Foundation, they're like, all of those are lies. Anybody who is a former, like, they're allegations by, like, Reich's family members, by, people around, and they're like, they're all liars. And I'm like, all of these people are lying? Like, you read Reich's own words, and he's a deeply disturbed individual, all right?
Yeah.
Like, not one time when I was a kid was I like, when I was a teenager thinking, yeah, I'm going to masturbate my female dog. It's like, what the hell's going on here?
Dude. That's insane.
So he says that's what orgone energy is, the same energy that Aleister Crowley's, and he even blasphemed and says that's the energy of Jesus Christ. Fuck Wilhelm Reich. He's a horrible, evil human being. I don't want to go nowhere near his fucking orgone energy. I want to make that clear.
There you go. Well, that's really clear. Hey man, that's fair enough too. It's disgusting. And I wasn't aware of any of that. Shit.
I'll send you the videos, David, of literally, Michael Joseph does excellent work.
Okay.
Breaking it down, and literally showing the quotes and the pages and everything.
I want to see it. Yeah. I don't care. I love Carl Jung. The Red Book. I love it. I think it's fantastic. It's so beautifully written. I'm a fan of. I don't care whatever he. We all have crazy friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously. So
Jung is the least corrupted out of those three. If you're talking about Freud, Reich, and Jung, the worst thing that I've been able to find that Jung did was just take advantage of his patients and sleep with them. All right, which is morally wrong.
Yeah,
but
so obviously that's some. But Stephen Hawking took that to levels on like that's not. I mean, but whatever. I don't even want to go. I'm just speaking from a strictly, yes, we have to look at these people as individual, not just their words, right? And yeah, it's important. It's important when, all like getting all these accolades, blah blah blah, later on, and when they're way past when they're dead, and
yeah,
and nobody, and then the people that were victims of, or what have you, still alive, that that they've really screwed over, or where I'm going with this. So, but I'm just saying strictly from Wilhelm Reich. I've never really dug into a lot of his writings. I've wanted to, but now I don't really want to. So I'm actually kind of glad you got me before I even started a little bit. Let's at least have my antennas up for any goofy shit I might encounter.
He can write well.
We can't throw out all the research, though. That's my point. It's like, that sucks. That's disgusting and horrible. But we also have to remember that just because of that doesn't deem everything. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's important to keep that in mind.
Well, Jung, yes. Reich,
Jung or even Reich, I don't know what he did. I'm just going to use that as like, yes, it's disgusting and horrible.
But if Reich's telling you that's where the orgone energy comes from.
Oh, no. Yeah, you're right. No, I'm talking about, didn't he study? I'm sure he studied other things, and I know that he's contributed in other ways, is what I'm trying to say. I feel like that. I could be wrong. Maybe Steiner, I confuse Rudolf Steiner with Wilhelm Reich because they're super SS sounding names, you know what I mean?
Yes, yeah.
So I mean, like, for some reason those two just go together for me. But yeah, so I don't know if I'm sometimes am confusing some of Rudolf Steiner with Reich, because it's so easy to do, it seems. But in my brain, at least how my filing system is, how I partition things. But
Cooper in the chat, be right back, lining the perimeter with salt. Yeah.
Oh, right, dude. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Everybody's gonna have to take showers tonight.
Get some of this. I'm not joking, everybody. This Shungai stuff, dude. I'm not like here. It's big. Carelia, the Karelia. Like seriously, this is a great. It looks like an owl too, which is pretty rad. Like, all right, well, it's not carved; it's just raw.
What is it?
It's still water. You can like apparently. You know about this, John?
You can use it to filtrate water, supposedly. Yes.
Yep. You can use this to filter out water. They sell the raw stones on like, and you can buy them in bulk and purify your water that way. I like I said, I don't know what. I was reading a few different reviews on it, John, though, and different experience with it, and people were saying this had so much power. Someone wore it for a couple of days, and it was like it absorbed so much EMF. They said that they could, when they wore it, they felt like they were getting heart palpitations.
That could happen. I mean, it does absorb non-EMF. I'm not going to say it doesn't.
Right.
But then again, if you're kind of like in an apartment and you have this big piece of shungite, do you really want to absorb and be blasted by all the EMF around you? It's like grounding pads. It's a little silly.
It is. But it's like weird. Honestly, I'm not. It sounds so. Just taking it off and kind of like, I cannot sleep. This is like day 3. I've only gotten 4 hours of sleep for the past 3 nights. You know what I mean? Short type thing where it's like, damn it. And yeah, that like it just. I'd even set it on my, like lay on my back, set it like right here, and it would just like it was like wiping my brain, like listening to binaural tones. Do you know what I mean? Or however binaural tones. It's like that. It felt like, but better. And
binaural
faster.
beats. I love that stuff.
Yeah. Binaural beats.
Great. I always wanted to. Go ahead.
I like to recommend Blue Shield, which is kind of like a technological way to block or to neutralize EMF. I believe in Blue Shield.
So how do you make a Blue Shield?
I believe in Blue Shield.
How does it work? Never heard of it before.
My belief from what and I have to ask my if you want the real of how it works, I'd have to ask my naturopathic doctor friend, Dr. Jonathan Ritz. I've had him on. We've read the documents. He can go in way more detail. From what I've seen is it puts forth its own, within the proper frequencies, EMF wave to counteract any EMF that you come in contact with. That's homogeneous. It measures your wave, your EMF wave that you're putting out, and syncs it to that.
That's cool.
And then boosts it, and then pushes it against the EMF that you're coming in contact with, so that it doesn't harm you. It's neutralized by your own boosted EMF.
That sounds rad.
That you're putting it.
I think that's all. I think that's probably how they make the black helicopters silent. They neutralize the sound wave with some sort of microphones that pick up the sound wave of the helicopter and then neutralize it by aiming back. I saw one the other day, so sorry, that came up in my connections there, but yeah.
No, you're right, Jim. That can't happen. I mean, you can have 2 conflicting waves, and
that sounds amazing.
The stronger wave is able to overcome or block or push forward the other wave.
So how do you need like? Can I just do it with my computer and like some speakers, the Blue Shield, or do I need?
No, it's specific devices that are able to do it. And actually, I did experiment because when we went to a friend of mine and I went to the Red Pill Expo, the John Birch study, John Griffin, to kind of just see what was about when it was up there in Connecticut. And my good friend of mine, Benny Wills, was the MC for there. So we went there, and that's when I met Dr. Jonathan Ritz. He lives in that Connecticut area. And we were I did an experiment where I noticed that he had a portable Blue Shield unit around him, and I just felt, before he even mentioned it, I just felt for some reason I'm very in tune with my heart rate. I can feel it when it goes up and when it goes down, and I can feel it being calm. And then so he goes, I have this little thing that I can check my heart rate variability on using my phone. And Samsung has a heart rate variability monitor in the back of their devices. And so I measured it, and my beats per minute were actually less, and my coherence was very strong. So it's okay, I'm going to have my friend sit down, and I'm going to measure his, to see if there's any difference and not tell him anything about the Blue Shield device, right? Do a little experiment. So I have him sit down, he's talking and everything, and I start monitoring his heart rate. And you think because I'm monitoring his heart rate and asked him to do it, would he be agitated? It might be a little bit up more than normal, right? No, it was a few beats per minute lower than it should be for his average, you know? So I was like, maybe there really is something to this. So, you know, I have a portable one that I carry around with me. And it does seem to make a difference. Like I get better sleep. I'm not as anxious. It seems to work fairly well. I know it's anecdotal.
What is it?
But it seems to. It's just a little tiny. It's like a white little machine that's able to generate an EMF very similar to like how a router works, but it measures the wave of your EMF and whatever frequency your EMF is at. It matches that and it broadcasts its own wave forward out.
How does it measure you? Does it connect? Whoa. Is it attached to you or?
It's as long as you carry it on you, like directly on you. Like
syncs with your biofield type thing.
Yes. Okay. It's able to. There's like a way you can measure it too, with holding it, kind of similar to.
All
like
within your etheric field. Yeah, it's all within your own field. Yeah. Yep.
So
or auric field or whatever.
I know some people are gonna say, well, this is woo woo.
Is it like?
Dude, it's the best kind of woo woo. It's the only kind of woo woo like. There's actual like results, and I don't care. Placebo effect is important. It's 30%. It's legit. It's real. White lab coat, all that stuff. It's real. I don't care what anybody says.
So is it like
look it
battery?
Up. You don't believe it. They want to suppress it as much as possible.
Is it battery chargeable? Is it
yes,
like
it is. Yes.
like do you plug it into your computer or like a USB or something?
As a USB, yes.
Huh. Interesting. If you don't mind me asking, how much something like that might run? Or
the portable unit's $200.
Cool. And you've had it
one of those
for a little while?
I've had it for about almost a year now.
How often do you find that you're using it?
I wear it all the time, usually with me. I didn't bring it out here tonight. I have it on my bookshelf. But most of the time I have it in my pocket with me.
So wow, it really I mean, we've all like been like, "Oh yeah, I've got this thing that is going to revolutionize my life," and we get it, and then we carry it around for 3 or 4 days, and then it ends up being one more thing that we have to carry, and we don't carry it around, and then you don't notice a difference. But that's what I was curious about, if it was that, if you've been carrying it around quite a bit, like.
Yeah, I also have like this safe sleeve on my phone too as well, to kind of
to shield
block
it.
The EMF when it's in my pocket, so it's not irradiating my testicles.
Yeah, I just recently bought some EMF fabric, shielding fabric from Amazon.
Yeah.
I haven't opened it yet to play with it, but I was gonna like make a little box and see if I could keep my phone from getting a signal inside the box, and if that works, then I was thinking about making a like a canopy bed with it.
Yeah, I know many people that have done that. So you're gonna try to make a Faraday cage to phone first. And see. Yeah. I
mean, different smaller levels. I've been kind of experimenting with different stuff. I've got some like foam insulation, like this, with shiny on it, and I did a room with that stuff, just to see what happens, and it's so peaceful. I go just hang out inside there all the time, like.
Well, I have my son's Xbox in a homemade Faraday cage that I made, and he can't use he has to use like wired controllers, and he gets so angry at me. Why can't I use wireless like all my friend? And I'm like, no,
Yeah.
So it doesn't broadcast any signal out of it, So he, but I turn the Wi-Fi router off at night when I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
Put my phone on airplane mode.
It's so hard these days.
Most of the time, my phone's on airplane mode when I'm asleep. So you try to reach me as an emergency, you probably won't. But you can't completely escape it. It's about just reducing your non-native EMF exposure to the best of your ability without hindering your life. It's not like I don't carry around a 4G cell phone You know,
Yeah.
I use it all the time.
John,
So
let me ask you your opinion on this too, real quick.
Yeah.
All right, so I got this Wi-Fi route. I have this gateway router right here, which I used to work for Time Warner. So back in 05, 06, when digital phone was like the main thing. So it was like we all had to, you know what I mean? Okay, so I was like a tech. So I knew where nodes were and what. Okay, so that back then there was so little research done. Do you know what I mean? And reported on. So they were still like doing the research, so they wouldn't report on any of it. So we didn't know what we were really getting into. But blah blah. I'm not trying to go anywhere with that or draw any. I'm just saying I kind of know. I gathered back then like this isn't the smartest thing to be. You know, we shouldn't be around this all day. Anyway, point is, so I've got a bigger gateway router here, and I'm wondering how much it's putting off. I don't have a meter anymore. I had some meters, like a K2, like actual like whatever a buddy did who did like a mockumentary ghost hunting thing in Milwaukee. It was pretty great. Shout out to Eric Wills. What up? Or not Eric Wills. Eric West. Too many friends. Eric. Anyway, but yeah, he lent me the gear, the ghost hunting gear for a minute, and I was like testing it out. And like, all right, let's see. It's always cold in this one spot right here. You know what I mean? And just like measure it. Yep, and I get a ping on the floor, and I'm like, see, it's there. And then I'd go, but then it would just be hovering in the air in one spot too. I'm like, what is this? Because there'd be cold spots, just ridiculous. Like, it's the middle of summer. I'm not even kidding. No air conditioning, no AC on nothing. And it was my ex-wife and my place, what have you. It was just like there it is again. And anytime you said there it is again, it's always a cold spot that makes absolutely no sense anywhere in the house. So it just was super weird. It's like, there it is again. Where? Feel it right here. Go down, go, nope, nothing, just right there. So it was really, really weird, and it would just happen all the time. It used to be like a crack row place, and I think a lot of people did. I'm positive, actually, a lot of people died there. And then they gentrified the area a lot nicer, you know, over time. But we'd been living there when it was still rather hood in that area. Anyway, point is when I got the gear, I was testing it all out and blah blah, and it's like, yep. And it turned out, of course, the only actual phenomena, I guess you could call it, where there was like actual EMF going on was when you could. I remember filming my cat for some weird reason with the light on in like the dressing room, and the light was on. It was like probably 3 o'clock in the morning. It was really weird. And he like jumped up and was meowing and looking at something, and I'm like, Jarvis, what are you doing? Like, and something prompted me to say, get your camera out. Like, what? I'm just going in to change my clothes to go to bed type thing at 2:30 in the morning, you know? But no, it was grab your phone, turn the thing on, and film the cat. Like, okay, I did this. I still have the video somewhere. I'll dig it up. And I'm filming him. I'm just talking to him like, "What's up, man? What's going on?" And I can all of a sudden I start seeing like a dancing orb type thing, and his eye is following it in the video. And I'm like, "What the?" I flip the light switch on, keep filming. I'm like, "What did you see, buddy? What did you see?" And all of a sudden, he starts looking around again, and then you see it again, and it just gets like, "What is going on?" And I'm just glad I caught it on tape. But the point is I got out the EMF meter after that, went in that area, peaking like a jerk, but it was like it wasn't like a, you know, pulse or any kind of. But the point is that was the only time that I actually had like a random spotty EMF other than the ones on the floor, which I had, you know, went down to the basement and very quickly realized, oh, this is where all the cords are, you know, conjuncting, but or what have you. So, but to be able to truly test some of, you know, the potency of, like, for example, tourmaline. And that one cat, he seems rad. Ross Ben, do you know what I'm talking about? He's this black dude out of Philly.
I don't listen to Ross Ben was on Higher
Greg
Side
Carlwood.
Chats. I have friends who like Ross Ben, but I've never listened to him.
He's pretty right on with a lot of his research and stuff. Like, he's just his delivery is just a different sort, slower. It's you know what I mean. Whatever, I get it. He seems like a cool dude. And anyway, he showed a video of some tests where he was putting different crystals in front of an EMF detector and a phone emitting massive amounts of EMF, you know what I mean? And it was killing it, you know what I mean? Just straight up. And I'm pretty sure the Shungite was the one that like 86 all of it, you know what I mean? So I don't know, my point there I guess is just like, I think it's certain crystals or certain things like they cause piezoelectric You know what I mean? Whether we want to admit it or not, and it is woo-woo goofy shit sometimes to some people, but I keep a stick of selenite around. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't care. I like the aesthetic of it anyway. Do you know? Like, it's whatever.
You should shut that router off at night, though.
Yeah,
That's
I was gonna
true.
say that's where I was going, and your brain thankfully went back around.
You
keeping it
know,
on the tracks.
it doesn't really necessarily have to affect people in tests for it to be effective. Like, there's a design for a pill. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
placebo,
there's like gel tabs, there's press tabs, there's capsules.
Sigils.
Capsules are the most effective placebo.
Effective. Yep.
So like, it doesn't really matter that whatever it is that is your medicine, that is your panacea, is your medicine. So like, if you believe that it's going to help you, and it does help you, whether or not it's because of science or belief,
Yeah.
you know, it's,
You pour the energy into it.
yeah, I guess maybe.
No, you do. 100%. If you believe it and you take it, that you're putting your what I want to say 30% worth
But
in.
what
that
if-
seems to be the number?
But I would counteract that and say there's been plenty
Yeah.
of times when I was sick and took things that I thought would work and didn't work.
There's that too. There's that too.
Yeah.
It works both ways. I don't know. It
And-
works both ways. I don't know. Maybe you have to be in such maybe your field, so to speak, your biofield, whatever you want to call it. They call it some people call it the auric field, the etheric, whatever. We all know it extends from 1.5 literal feet out, you know, from each side, and I think a
Well,
certain
some
degree,
people are
whatever.
probably smaller, and some people are way
Right,
bigger.
Exactly. Some people weaker, some people stronger, and I'm sorry to cut you, John, there, but it's
No.
like if
No, I understand what you're saying, David. I didn't mean to cut you off either. It's just, I don't know. One day we should have the Noetic Science discussion and where the Noetic Science Institute came from and who was really funded.
I'm aware.
Oh, not me.
Totally, I'm
What's the Noetic Science Institute?
Edgar Mayo's, Dr. Edgar Mitchell's.
Casey, Dr. Edgar Casey.
In Templeton.
No, Edgar Mitchell.
Edgar
in
Mi-
Templeton.
Oh,
In Council
Oh.
for National Policy, Templeton, and why are the Christians also researching the Noetic Sciences? That
But
doesn't make any sense.
You're going 8th degree black belt, John. Hold on.
oh, it's all right. I'm
Lent.
not familiar with that one, so.
No, John. We got I think more along the lines of like Edgar Mitchell. That's where you got to go.
So what is it? Just give me a 1 or 2 paragraph.
Up, Johnny. At it.
I don't know if I get too complicated. Okay, so
Don't do
you're-
it. Don't do
Yeah.
it. Just do it.
Do like 7 words. Do it haiku form. Let's do haiku conspiracy.
I can't do it.
Don't leave your personal research and stuff out of it, and just try to give it to us like you're trying to.
Well, not
just
Templeton. Okay.
leave your spin out. Leave the Brisson spin off, and let's just see
Well-
what you would do if you. I'm paying you to read.
I like
an
the
ad
spin.
for the Noetic Sciences Institute. Here's a John Brisson.
So is it like Noetic?
Okay.
I know.
Did you ever believe that you wanted to fly, walk on water, do everything your
Oh.
little heart desires? Then
Of course.
the Noetic Sciences might be for you.
Oh.
Remember that one experiment where you put your intention in the molecules, and the molecules, behave differently when a person was viewing them?
Like
and when they
rice
didn't?
experiment, or the.
The Noetic
Yeah.
Sciences are real. It's not woo-woo.
Oh,
It's
absolutely.
not complete control, deep state bullshit. Sorry, I couldn't.
Or
See, even I can't.
Like the
I can't.
ice crystals with Dr. Emoto. Was his name Emotion? Dr. Emoto or something like that? Where he
I know you're talking. I didn't talk about.
he does-
Dr. Emogen.
Imogen, yeah.
that's like Dr. Kaufman. But like I get it. I believe that you could probably. I mean, I don't know. I've never tried to grow
So it's my,
ice crystals.
it's
but
my belief that
is it
there's
true?
there's the objective world that we live in, Jim. Okay, and no matter how hard you try, whatever attention that you put on the objective world will not bend that reality. Okay, so for example, if I take a gun and I'm like, hey, Uri Geller, bend this, and I shoot him, all right, and the bullet hits him right in the heart and kills him. All right.
How dare you tell me that your reality is more important than my reality, where I bend stuff.
You go Swan. And go Swan. There you go. Mankind Research Unlimited. Turn it back to the finders. Carl Schleicher. But anyway.
So the Noetic Institute is about. It's like Neo from the Matrix, like.
Yes. Dean Radin. Do you know who Dean Radin is, Jim?
And Rupert Sheldrake.
Rupert Sheldrake.
The panpsychism. Panpsychism, correct? Rupert Sheldrake.
Rupert Sheldrake.
Believes everything's conscious. Panpsychism is a beautiful, beautiful thing. It is. It is.
Well,
ain't it, John?
It's a beautiful, beautiful big pile of horse shit.
Whatever.
All right, let's take this bet. David. I need you to sign a paper, and John Brisson will shoot a gun at you. Okay, and there's no addendum to me if something happens to you. I'll shoot you in the shoulder. All right.
Good.
And you can use all your intent to stop the bullet, but the bullet's still gonna smack directly into your shoulder. You think the gun's gonna misfire? You think nothing's gonna happen?
Call him John.
Oh, something went wrong this time.
Colin, yeah.
Now, if our personal will goes along with that objective will, if our subjective truth mirrors that objective truth, then yes, things will happen. And we think that we did it, we didn't really do it.
Well, what if you're just consciously choosing your own adventure through the possibilities, all the alternate timelines that could exist from each choice, and they all happen all at once, but your experience goes along whichever path you might choose. You go.
You know what, Jim? That reminds me of a movie that I like called Donnie Darko.
Oh yeah.
And the director's cut of Donnie Darko. Of course, the sequel S Darko for Samantha Darko is complete garbage.
Tesseracts falling from the sky.
And the extended thing, you would see something come out of them in the direction of what they were going to do, but not as their path. It was literally leading them to wherever Donnie was going. All right, so it wasn't their will, was them being pushed forward by something. So again, it's the objective truth. I believe the objective truth is God, and we live in His creation. Therefore, we can't go.
Meaning that's the third. That creates the third, like the Schrodinger's cat kind of situation. Well, it's got to be the observer plus that to equal this.
I don't know who it is.
Well, that's that triad. That's that trinity right there.
Is it Carl Sagan that wrote about the 11 dimensions or something? And if you were living in the fourth dimension, you would look at us and see us as a long undulating worm with our infant
Technically, we
self.
are the fourth dimension. I think.
Right. Well, infant self at one end and deceased self at the other end.
That is true, Jim. It's also horrifying too.
Oh, definitely horrifying.
But I gotta go in 8 minutes, you guys. I gotta head off to bed.
Love you, and you've stayed for long as hell. And
no, but I've enjoyed this.
Oh yeah.
No, thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's make.
We'll have a topic maybe next time, or where are you coming from? Where are you broadcasting?
Fayetteville, North Carolina, born and raised.
Oh, beautiful.
Bragg. Michael Quino. I always use the adage. There's a Italian restaurant called Luigi's that everybody ate to. It's very likely why my father was eating there, that Jeffrey McDonald during the 70s may have also been eating there as well, and Colonel Michael Aquino may also, not saying they're eating together, they're eating at separate tables, obviously, and not knowing who the hell is there, but it's very possible. And so when I think of stuff like that, I'm like, that's a little fucking scary. So, I grew up in a very evil place, and yes, I'm not military, my grandfather was in World War II, but my family's been here since the 1700s. So, just happened to put a military base here.
There you go.
Well, there's a lot of them around.
That's why we love you, John. Not for any other reason.
I do want to show you guys something.
I'd like to see it.
So, yeah, it's been fun tonight, guys. We appreciate it.
I'll stay on for a little bit if you'd like.
It's been a joke.
If you want to talk more.
Couldn't join us. Greg Busifis couldn't join us.
It's not a joke at all.
But that's all right.
Well, I think it was pretty good first attempt at the little Bohemian groove powwow.
Yeah. Yep.
This is my dad's spelling dictionary that he had when he was a teenager in college. So the first page is lit on here. CIA is the forerunner to the OSS. Right
That's
there.
amazing, dude. That's a fact. So your dad's awesome.
And then some weird recipe for food and some math for something to make fondant. So and then watch the moon question. When do you figure out when Easter will be? Wisdom is the right use of information. My dad wrote on here.
Wow, that is profound.
That's beautiful. Wisdom is the right use of information.
My dad was a conspiracy theorist, so.
He was a conspiracy theorist?
Yeah, was actually when I was a teenager thought he was batshit crazy and was a neocon conservative Christian, which I still am a conservative Christian now, but I'm not a neocon. But it's just interesting.
You're not a Zionist, you mean?
Oh no! I was at that time.
We're joking. I'm joking.
I was at that time.
We love you, buddy.
But my dad would be like, yeah, well, I used to listen to Coast AM with him all the time. And we'd be up late sometimes, and I'd be listening to. I mean, more when I was in my teenage years.
Yeah.
And we listened to Bill Cooper together, and that's one of my driving things about doing this is because I used to, think he was crazy, and because my dad did suffer from paranoid schizophrenia too. He had Hep C, his liver was failing, ammonia, it's a lot of stuff. But I want to
talk to you about that off air too, or off air or on air, John, about the schizophrenia.
I don't mind talking on air. I'll talk about it on air.
No, but you got to go, so I don't want to.
Well, we're not pushing you out the door if you want to stay. But yeah.
We don't want to get you in trouble either, though. It's 10 o'clock. We were supposed to go way earlier tonight, guys. Apologize again for that.
But it's been really fun, you guys. I had a great time. Jim, it was nice to meet you finally.
Yeah, you too. I still want to have that talk. I was a little bit distracted earlier before,
okay.
We
will.
Yeah.
We will.
One of these days. You should come back too.
Any guys you want to have, I try to have you guys on my channel too. Anytime you guys want to come, it's been great. I had a great time.
I appreciate it so much. John.
Where's the best place to reach you?
Give out all the info again.
We've read the documents on YouTube and we've_read on Twitter. And if you have any digestive health issues, fixyourgut.com. There's over 200 blog articles. I also offer coaching, and I have Fix Your Gut 3rd edition on Amazon. I guess I should plug that. I usually keep it separate from that. But might as well put them together. What's the harm?
Right. Yeah, I could add it to the description if you can send
all the links
David a link
for the podcast and everything else.
Cool,
too,
yeah.
I'll take care of all of it. Don't worry, I got it all set. So, yeah, thank you so much, John. Seriously, and for hanging tough like a true champ. We are our buddies, Billy Ray. Billy Ray Valentine. Shout out to you, buddy. Infinite Fringe is where he can be reached on Truth Frequency Radio every Sunday.
Obi-Wan, you know me on Twitter.
Obi-Wan, you know me.
Obi-Wan, you know me. That's clever. I love it.
And the show, the Infinite Fringe airs Sunday afternoons at 6 p.m. I think. Or 7 p.m. Eastern?
7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, yes.
7 Eastern Standard Time.
On True Frequency Radio.
Yep. What's it called?
And also has America Unplugged on the Iconic Network. David Icke and Jamie and the Family's network there as well. On
Truth Frequency Radio, what was your show called?
It's Billy Ray's show.
The
Billy
Infinite.
Ray Valentine, and it's
the Infinite what?
The Infinite Fringe.
Fringe.
The Infinite Fringe, yeah.
I thought you said French for a second, so I was just verifying.
And then he also has a couple other shows on, I believe, the Hacker Hameen Network or something, wrestling related.
He used to do WLR, but he has his own wrestling group, which is the PW Hustle, which I'm a huge wrestling fan, by the way.
Okay. So I wish I could get into that, but
just to make that known. I used to watch it with my dad, that's why. So.
No, same here. Dude, Saturday night's main event used to be the greatest thing ever. I remember looking at a TV guide every week in the grocery store, hoping that Saturday Night Live would not be listed, and I would see Saturday Night Live or Saturday Night's Main Event. That was the greatest feeling, to look forward to, because remember you get wrestling challenge during the Saturday mornings. Wait, John, are we the same age? You're 04, you graduated, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I am 35.
So we're 5 years. Okay, so we got 5 years. Okay, so do you remember that on Saturday mornings? It would be Saturday mornings. Yeah, you'd have Ultimate Warrior, but it would be the worst matches ever. It would be like No Name, Bad News Brown, not Bad News Brown. He wasn't a No Name, but the
Remember the Godwins,
so-
the pig farmers?
the Pig Farmers. Yeah, dude, they were great. They would always go up
Godwins.
against Doink and Dink.
Yep, Doink and Dink.
Yeah.
Road Warrior Animal died last week. Rest in peace.
Hey, rest in peace to Animal.
Seriously.
I have two stories, one with Hawk, one with Animal, that my mom worked for a minister for a long time and was his editor and all this stuff, and he knew how big of a fan. He was flying one day just like from somewhere, like across the Atlantic, right? And he was sitting literally next to Hulk Hogan and Sam Farina, shout out, senior. Yeah, he went out and had Hulk Hogan and Hawk from Road Warriors on right next to him, and I was like, well, what? He goes, I got you an autograph. Here you go, and got a couple other cousins who are my close friends autographs. And then he goes, I was like, so what did they say? What did you say? He's like, I'll just say that they had the most foul mouths I'd ever heard in my entire life, or something like that. But then 2 years later, he had another flight next to Hogan again, randomly.
Wow.
And Animal, yeah, get this, and Animal from the Road Warriors, and he said that they were like the kindest. They were like completely different people the second time. So I was like, well, that probably is like says something a lot about their life path and where they were. You know, he's like, yep, he's like, I got along with them great. They were super sweet, and they actually remembered me from the Hulk Hogan remembered him. So, but I mean, that's just cool, whatever. But you know, I'm 39. I just can't. I stopped when I was like 18 with Stone Cold Steve Austin. But it's time for you to go, John.
And The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
See, that was right when I stopped. It was like,
I'm a Rowdy Piper fan myself. He's my favorite.
I love Piper.
Yeah, he's the
Piper's
best.
Pit. Remember his little Piper's Pit?
He had I lived in his town, the town that he lived at after I guess he retired. He opened a muffler shop. It's freaking awesome.
Muffler
Yeah.
shop of all places.
Yeah, I didn't own a car back then, but it was really just nice to know that he was there, you know?
It's like super weird. Like,
Yeah.
well, at least we got Roddy
Yeah.
Piper down the street.
Well, you know.
Muffler shop.
Now you got Ronda Rousey taking the Roddy Piper gimmick.
Yeah.
Oh,
hot.
shit.
I
Ronda
find-
Rousey.
She plays video games.
That's even hotter.
Are you feeling a little bit aroused? But I'm bummed.
Thanks, Dad. Okay, Boomer.
Yeah, I've got gold.
I know you do.
Hey, Ronda can wrestle, and yes, she is beautiful. So yes,
She is, man. I like her. I like her person too. I've heard her. Jay Moore interviewed her. I love Jay Moore. I'm buddies with dude, kind of. But yeah.
Seems
Hey,
like
SP's
SP.
here.
nice.
Buddy.
All right, I gotta go, you guys. I'm
All
sorry.
right.
John.
Not
Well-
because SP's joining, just because we've been at it. Thank you for having me on Weaver's
Oh, I see how it is.
Spiders
All right.
Booth. Yeah, I'm
Dude,
sorry, SP. I
Don't
gotta
worry.
go.
All the links will be in this.
No,
all
you're
the
all
links will be
good.
up.
We'll take it some other time.
No, yeah, I just invited him. I thought we could stay for a minute. If that's cool with
Bye,
you,
you guys.
Barsky.
All right, John.
Bye. I'll see you
Everybody.
later, John.
Bye.
Is that all right with you for a minute? Oh, hello. Guess not. Hello.
I'm looking at the YouTube live right now.
Hello.
Yeah,
Oh,
here we
I'm
go.
still live.
Yeah. All right, we made it
All right.
back.
Oh, sweet. All right, nice.
All right, everybody in the Jolly Lee, we ain't done.
Yeah, I've got a little more time. If it's all right with y'all.
Teenage FBI in the chat.
We got such a late start after all that stuff that we had to work out, you know.
Yeah, sorry I had to bail for a minute, you guys.
Oh, no worries.
No, dude. Oh, good.
It was kind of like we closed the bar up it every
Prematurely.
every hour, and then and opened it back up a minute later.
I remember that feeling.
Hey, yeah. I was telling Barski about that the other day.
Yeah. The Archons?
Inevitable experimentation,
Oh.
Yeah.
which
If you
ends
go through
in
the picture archive, there's some strange
Sean, we have
strange
much.
things to see.
Right, we have much to discuss on that front too, and our friend who just unfortunately left us has a lot of information for us.
yeah. Well, we should all do a call about it sometime.
Couldn't even be public. Couldn't even be public. Anyway, that's beside the point.
So where's
Yeah. I have a lot of information that's like that, but there's no way I would now because the life of it is what it is.
Can't hear you at all, SB. All we got is white noise behind you there.
you might need to pick your go into your Skype settings and select your microphone to go out. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys just fine.
That's a little better. I might be able to turn it up.
Let me,
Yeah. Oh shit. How's that? Barski, will you talk, SB? Is it working now? Now you guys talk, so let me listen on my thing here. Oh shit. How's that? Barski, will you talk, SB? Is it working now? Now you guys talk, so let me Hey, we're still not quite hearing you.
Really?
Yeah, I think
Hearing me or both of us?
I was getting both. Now, why don't you guys talk?
Okay, we're talking now.
So it's me and this guy, David Barski. I've only talked to him just a few times. So Twitter private messages, now once or twice, face to face on the camera. And it seems like
I'm checking right now.
Guy.
Yeah.
Looks like he's got his flag hung correctly upside down, so that it shows the nation is truly in distress. There's some kind of fucking cat poster which makes me scratch my head, but hey, that's okay. That's okay.
It's
Alright, it's working.
The band Shellac.
Shellac, I never heard.
Yeah. They're from Chicago. Steve
Are you all there?
Albini is the front man, the dude who records all the electrical audio. He produced all the Neurosis records. He produced Jesus Lizard. A million bands you know. Now I can't hear SB.
Yeah, it sounds really familiar.
Can you hear SB, everybody?
Yeah.
All right.
Albini was
back, Jim?
What's that?
We can hear you.
Are you getting? Are we going out live proper, or are we back to just Jim solo with a couple of pictures of some weird looking dudes?
No, it should have been work. Something we did.
We're fine. I can see it on YouTube right now. We're fine.
Can you hear? Can you hear everybody though?
Steve,
you gotta.
Steve Albini, Shellac never tours. Normally they don't regularly tour. They don't regularly put out records. You probably know the song Squirrel Song, where it's like, this is a sad fucking song. I might just bust out right now and start crying, and then it's just crazy heavy, mathy. Good. And they're a three-piece. They rarely tour because they're all like famous record producers. And Steve Albini produced Nirvana in Utero, the last record.
Yeah, I'm sure I've heard it. I don't really turn on to any new shit, so just
it's
like,
old.
Yeah, okay.
Big Black was his first band. Big Black in the '80s. Shellac came out in like the late '80s, mid to late '80s, and then they were around like hardcore up here in Milwaukee with D. Kreutzen, and like real, like I'm 39. That's probably dating. Those dudes are probably in their late 40s. But yeah, Albini's notorious for being one of the coolest, having one of the best studios, number one. But also, it didn't matter. I have a ton of friends that have recorded with him. He refuses to be like a Nazi with pay. He sticks by a strict communist rule to where everybody pays equal. Do you know what I mean, kind of thing, and has had that since like yeah. So like, I have a bunch of friends that just be like, yeah, we went down and recorded with Albini. I'm like, what? How much per hour? I'm like, too cheap. You know what I mean? Just way too.
No, yeah, I mean that's some people do that so that it keeps the vibe of the thing consistent. But otherwise, you can come with $1 million and say, hey, we want to buy your studio for the next year, and you say yes, and then it just makes it so that it's not the same vibe.
And you're not working at all, and you're just like, what do I do? You're not putting out doing anything creatively, just spinning your wheels. It's ridiculous. So, but when Shellac toured, like they don't really announce anything. They don't really care about who's opening for them, type thing. Like they brought these 12-year-old girls, and Albini was like, yeah, these girls seem really good and they're serious, so they were open when I walked into the show. It was March 12th, which was the day before everything got shut down, and pre-math, pre-whatever. It was just before Friday the 13th, right? And I remember going to that show. A buddy asked me to go. He's like, I had an extra ticket for Shellac. It's going to be, I'm like, what? I didn't even know their plan. Like I said, they don't announce their tours. They don't promote it on purpose. They're just like, yep, we're coming to town. If you come, whatever. And I remember going to Turner Hall. Yeah.
It's awesome. What? Oh, no, I was just laughing. I was like thinking.
We go into Turner Hall, and they open the big doors, and Turner Hall holds about 1,000 people. You know, the nice big ballroom. And my buddy Eric Von Munz, he does those prints. If you Google him, Von Munz, VONMUNZ, he's got like some of the greatest poster artwork, like legendary punk rock, everything. Anyway, point is walk in there, nobody's wearing masks, nobody's doing anything. Albini, they do the set, they're just killing it, but their amps keep dying because they build their own custom, like crazy loud amps. They're just all tube, but he uses electric, like he started the aluminum neck thing, like making.
Okay.
So yeah, he just started designing the electrical guitars. I can't remember I think that's the company, Electric Guitar Company, with the V shape.
Did Barski tell you that he's a drummer?
Dude, I'm a guitarist first and foremost. I'm a guitarist. Shut up.
I'm just teasing you.
But yeah, blah blah blah. What was beautiful about it was I was expecting Albini to go on one his amp kept breaking and his guitar strap kept breaking too. It's just super weird. Him to talk about COVID or something, right? Because he's the type to mouth off. He's been on Bourdain, you know what I mean, on No Reservations and on so like he's got a mouth on him and he's notorious for it. And I was shocked and so in hindsight, like refreshed to not hear a word about that stupid mind plague, and nothing about it. Like they didn't sound like they were going to stop touring unless they absolutely had to, but he didn't even bring it up, so he didn't even want to acknowledge it. And you know this was the last night of their tour. He knew it. Everybody knew it. People were looking around like the vibe was like, shouldn't we be wearing masks? That was like the feeling among everybody. And I think, if there was a time to be wearing masks, now would be the right time to be doing it. I remember talking to Michael Deacon that night, actually, of all people, and sending him he was like, whoa, dude, I don't know if that's such a good idea. I'm like, I don't either. But me and 625 of my closest friends, we all got COVID to see a hell of a show.
But we all live in the same house, so it's okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's fine.
That's the best apocalypse ever with Shellac on top of it, right? It's like, that band is so good. SB, check them out for real.
I'm going to have to check them out. I'm sure I probably listened to them. I just don't... if I didn't listen to it a million times in my new CD player, I don't remember it. That's my problem.
One of those?
Yeah, because I just only in the last year and a half have started, like, I pay for Amazon Music, so I loaded up with a bunch of bullshit. And the main reason I did it was because I was so frustrated with all the weirdness going on in the world that I went and made a playlist called Honorable Anger Sing-Along and loaded it up with all of my favorite heavy metal and old grunge songs.
Give me some song.
Like
give me some. Yeah, I'm curious to know what your Spotify top playing list is compared to mine.
Old Soundgarden, Pantera.
Yeah. All right. Wait. What Soundgarden? No. Slow down. What Soundgarden? Like, are we talking?
I put Slaves and Bulldozers in there just to make sure I could still sing it, and I threw Jesus Christ Pose in there because I figured I wouldn't be able to sing it anymore, but I could still sing it. And I learned. Yeah, I like Rusty Cage, but they played it so much on the radio, I got burnt out on it.
They didn't hear. So.
Yeah, I'm in the Pacific Northwest, so I'm gonna do Rusty Cage all day, every day. So it's,
Okay.
I like Johnny Cash's version better in a way because it's at least something different. You know.
Good call. Wait, I gotta ask you this one question though. Are you down on the upside, fan or no, of that last record?
Yeah, I like it.
I think it's phenomenal. It's one of the most underrated records, dude. It's like a continuation.
Yeah, I haven't listened to it forever, but I like it.
So
I like it.
you put it on randomly one day, and you're gonna be like, holy shit, because I did, and I was like, my mind is melting with these like dude, and like it's like some of the heaviest sludge doom you've ever heard on like 4th of July. People are like, they don't get it. That is the heavy, like, dude, that's tuned down to like what, A? Like,
no, I love Kim Dale anyway. Kim Dale is amazing.
He's lost right now, it seems like, without, like, he was doing stuff with Sun O or whatever, but I don't know. The guy, Dylan Carlson from Earth, I'm a huge Earth fan. I don't know, like, that's my slow drone, like, stoner, do you know what I mean? Like, not stoner, but sludge, do you know? Like, that's just my heart. Fu Manchu too, you know, that kind of Queens of the Stone Age.
Yeah.
Smart.
You were just talking about something when we were. You were recommending something in the DMs.
All Them Witches.
Yeah, All Them Witches. That's right. Because my boy showed me something by him.
That was good music.
Dude, did you listen to it, SB?
We just went out to. What's up?
Did you get a chance to listen to it?
No, I haven't listened to it.
Bro.
No.
Unreal how good it is.
Like today, instead of listening to music, I listened to Miguel Connor's podcast with Jason, Johnny, about Prometheus. It's pretty crazy. That's what I did instead of listening to.
It's good stuff. I love listening to Aeon Bite, man. Or was it Aeon Bite or no?
Yeah, it was Aeon Bite. That's one of the very few things that I pay for a membership to, so I get the full package, you know?
Yeah, I've got to do that, man. I feel like a jerk. That's one, and I also need to do it. Or no, I just started for Crow, which I feel like a jerk because I've like been talking to not a jerk, but you know what I mean. Like,
people can afford what they can afford. That's just it. If we were all inherently wealthy, then we just sub everybody and back up on archives just to be polite and make sure that it's all there. But
exactly, to keep the research out there, right?
Well, yet, you know.
Yeah, I need to alternate because I just can't afford to help out everybody I listen to.
Yeah, because we're also having to pay for the services on top of it, guys. Like Jim and I were talking earlier, SB, like about the hits on our phones when we go into subscription.
Oh man, yeah.
App, iTunes, or from through Apple. It's like, dude.
I hit so much stuff I didn't even know about.
Yeah, and they're hitting my Venmo account. I'm like, dude, that's like a joke backup. You don't ever touch my Venmo. You know what I mean? Like, what? Like, or my PayPal. You're gonna charge my PayPal when I didn't purposely verify it with that. I just checked that. I got charged for another YouTube Premium today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, YouTube right here. But literally, I got charged $17.99 of the premium renewal when I purposely said no. I don't want to renew it. I had my fill. It's okay. You know.
I was wondering what was happening to all my money, and then like I found I was like paying for $70 worth of like services that I don't use a month, and it's not like every single day or every single month at the same time. Like they take it like
the whole
different.
Is the way. Remember, it used to be that way. Remember, who's the rapper that used to sell facial stuff? Was it Puffy Combs with the Clinique? Remember that stuff?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay, it might.
No, Proactive. Was it Proactive or was it Clinique?
Was it Proactive? Yeah, okay, but anyway.
Yeah.
In the day with your credit card, you had to cancel your card to get them charging it.
And now that doesn't even work.
And everything's digital. They can hit us with subscriptions for everything, and they do.
Yeah.
If you don't go review your bill once every 2 or 3 months, you're just throwing hundreds of dollars down the toilet because you stopped up one time and you swear you canceled it because you did. And then they didn't cancel. They said, yeah, here's your cancel confirmation. They keep billing you and see how long till you notice. Yeah.
Plus, like, I thought that once my card was gone, sorry to cut you off there, you know, like, I lose my wallet, like, every couple of years or something. So I think like, okay, I lose my wallet, I lose my debit card, I'm gonna get it replaced. So all the things are canceled that were being recurrent charges. It's
insane.
dumb thinking.
I got charged for some coin app today. I don't know if you guys mess with it. I mess with cryptocurrency. I am not all in like an idiot, but I made some money during that bubble over this past summer. Like, Jim, you know, I was lobbying like, dude, here's the sign up, do this, you'll get some free Bitcoin, like take it, it's free, why not, right? But SP, as I'm sure you're aware, it's like pulling teeth with that, right?
Oh, with me?
Yeah, with the tech, like going, nope, nope, after what you told me earlier. Yeah, that's it. That's what I mean. So,
it's a miracle that he's on here with his potato webcam right now.
And here I go. We'll talk off there. This is too funny. I'm like, I've never done a live stream before, Jim. It's like, you've done it. You got this. Come on, buddy. No, we love you. I love you too. You're the greatest.
Well, thanks.
I wouldn't have done any of this if it wasn't for Jim.
What?
I said I wouldn't have done any of this if it wasn't for Jim. I agreed to go bait EFG on Warski, and I was like, well, how am I going to do it? And Jim's like, you could do it in my basement. I'm like, sweet, let's do it in your basement, because I was trying to fathom, like, okay, I agreed to do this. What am I going to do? Sit at my desk in my office with my dog and try to convince this French neurobiologist autist that the earth is flat when he's like all he cares about is making me look like a fool.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
It said, so instead we spent like $100 on gear and set it up in Jim's basement, and it turned into this huge slippery monster called Picture Show.
Yeah, I got the bug. It's the whole like watching somebody talking live, but like you can't talk and you get to watch, and then the thing you get to watch on is like 8 or 9 seconds later. So like you'd be like, hey, whoa, I got like check out this one thing, but like it's not your conversation, so like you just have to watch.
Oh yeah, the chat is a whole different animal. Like if you get in the chat, I used to get banned. I always get slowed down and banned and like put on timeout in the chat because I blow the chat up, you know. And if you do that, then the moderators are just like bonk.
Too many messages, sir. Slow down.
Right.
Before chat
Take
rooms.
Take shoes off before you come in, homie.
Yeah. I used to go to Yahoo chat back in the day. I met an Australian girl and went and like had a relationship with her for 3 years, and then eventually went and lived with her for 2 months in Brisbane, all from Yahoo chat. And we used to just go blow up chat rooms. We just go into the chat room, like go to the soap opera chat and just start ranting and raving all the
OG LARPs, dude. OG LARP troll.
OG troll, yeah.
Hey up, y'all at every bridge, like hey up.
I used to do it for my buddy in the wheelchair. He'd sit there and watch me, and I'd say, let's see how fast we can clear this out. We'd go to the room that had the most people, like 530 people talking about soap operas, and just go clear it so that there was just me laughing.
You used to rip it into the AOL chat room, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we used to be on ICQ. I loved ICQ. The digital interface for ICQ was awesome because it put their chat on the top and your chat on the bottom, and you could see when they were typing and they could see you were typing.
IU was perfect.
Totally
yeah.
Cyber sex.
UI.
That was ICQ. It's the best for cyber sex.
Yeah, UI was great on that. I remember that, dude. I just called it IU. I must be stoned. I ate some edibles before, and forgot what time. But
I'm in Idaho, so my days of being friendly with the herb are over, and I don't smoke anything.
Man. I'm in Wisconsin, same here. I just drove across the border and I'm golden, but it was like literally like going, brought up a good point. Who was it that told me? My friend Megan in Texas. She's like, yeah, because I told her what it costs for 2 dog walkers and a 10-pack of like some, 100 milligram gummies, right? $90, please? Not kidding, $90 frickin' dollars. So when I told my friend Megan, whatever, she's like, well, you can just look at it like a nice dinner. You went out to a nice dinner. I did get
like, a nice date.
And I knew I was going to spend a bunch of money. I just didn't know taxes were literally going to be $44 as opposed to,
wow.
So it's like 50% tax almost. So yeah, I don't want to go out to dinner that much, but every now and then I'll celebrate. Yeah, that was my first dispensary literally ever in my entire life going to, by the way, too. So it was an experience, but I felt rushed, and I felt like my mask was the mask enforcement was like out of control, to the point where it was uncomfortable, oppressive, and even my mask wearing friend, Erica, who I went with, shouts to Erica, what up? Yeah, she was even, this is oppressive, and I was like, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought
And
Jim
my
both
mouth,
made the shield and the
my
mask
mask-
up because the shield is so much better. You
Yeah.
gotta put that shit on.
The
Baseball cap.
the
So much
the
better.
visor mask. Yeah. Here.
but
He's making fun of me for
I
it.
can't get down. I've thought about it, and I've seen the people here wearing it in gas stations and all that, and I'm just like, dude, that just is too much. I mean, if I have to be somewhere though for a certain amount of time with donning a mask, I can't wear my Wu-Tang 36 chambers protect your neck mask all the time because it's so thick. Like, I have to speak extra loud.
Suffocating, yeah.
Yeah, it's legit. Wear it with the nose exposed, so it's like as long as my neck and my throat are in my mouth covered, I suppose, a little bit, I can get away with it. Nobody said anything, give me dirt, but my experiment from the other day, which was beautiful,
Oh yeah, tell me about that. I was meaning to ask you.
I think you'll appreciate this as well. So I think it was Wednesday? Yeah, it was about Tuesday or Wednesday. I go to the main we have a bunch of grocery stores here in town. Sean, I'm in a city of about 200,000 metro, and 200,000 people in the country. So anyway, I go. So we have a big
You
bunch
said
of
you're in Wisconsin.
Yeah, just south of Milwaukee,
Okay.
literally like 20 minutes south of Milwaukee, and just north of Chicago. The state line it took me 22
Oh,
minutes.
I
to
know
get
right where you're talking about. Yeah, yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
I know you're
right off I-94, right by the lake, racing. Anyway, so what was I
that's
saying?
like all the baby raping devil worshippers right there, man.
Dahmer or who?
No, it's like there's just a huge reputation for all the satanic cult shit going on right there in that part of Wisconsin.
Yeah,
I thought.
I don't know.
I'll drop a link on you later, man. You'll see
Yeah,
what I'm
do it, because I need to know about this, because if it's in my backyard, I'm going to go get mad and pull out a shotgun and aim it out my
Don't get mad.
Right. So, check it out. So, anyway, what was I saying, I guess? Oh, yeah, dispensary.
talking
My
about
bad.
experiment.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, experiment. Mask.
Oh, yeah, the special experiment with the mask. Yep, here we go. So, I'm with my buddy Brendan, who he probably looks like a 31-year-old Basquiat kind of gay dude, tall, lanky, one of the coolest cats to know. What shouts to Brendan. Anyway, he's just my boy. So we're hanging out, and we drive. I'm like, hey man, I think I'm not gonna wear a mask, and it's super rush hour time. It's 5:30 p.m. And he's like, what? And he gives me this look like Barski, and I'm like, look, it's not because you know how my stance on masks, and he has got the same thing. You know what I mean? He's just like, yeah, this is ridiculous. He's hip, you know, he gets it, but not to the. He's not like, he's still white belt, maybe yellow belt. So I go, he goes, I got it. He's already got his phone. I'm like, just have your camera, and he's like, I'm already on it right now, dude. I was like, don't worry, I'm not gonna make a scene, right? So he's like, all right, cool. And I was like, are you gonna wear yours? Come on, don't wear yours. And he had like a cheetah print mask on, or like, you know, like leopard print. I was like, come on, man, do it with me. He goes, sorry. I was like, well, you're right. It's probably better to have the mask and record, whatever. I was like, you're black though, so you get a couple extra points here. He goes, I know, but it doesn't matter. So let's just go. So we go in. I've got my token David Barski. It's like smirk on my face that's saying, I dare you to say something to me. Come on, please say something to me. But it's kind of like a weird, arrogant, charismatic thing that I have that I don't understand. Whatever. Point is, I made sure to make eye contact, smile, and say hi, because that's what I do anyway. I'm like, been service industry a lot of my life, and I like doing that work. So there you go. All that aside, I'm walking through. People are giving me the look. These Karens, there's multiple Karens giving me the looks that are like, wait. Yeah, they're just like, wait. Shouldn't you?
I hate that
basically-
bitch.
I could
Sorry, Karen.
basically, yeah, right. I could basically read their mind just by their eyes, and you know what I mean, just by the little
yeah.
mic. Yeah. So I'm looking and I can read. What is he doing? Well, yeah, it really isn't that bad. What am I doing? Damn it. Huff, walk away. That is literally every Karen I came across. It was either sometimes it took 3 seconds for that to transpire in their head, or 10 seconds, but it happened every time, and not a word came out of their mouths. Now get this. So I'm taking my time going through every aisle. Brenda's like, Jesus. I'm like, this is wild, isn't it? Like, yeah. It's like these people are looking at you and then they're realizing, wait, why are we doing this too? It was super weird. Then I'm like, all right, here's the test. I was like, because he put his camera away because people were not, and it's filled. This grocery store's filled. He put his camera away because no one was messing with me. So we get back up to the front and I'm like, oh, here we go. Get it ready now because, we got a self-checkout. There's a line and I got to get carded because I'm getting some beer. So here we go. So we get up there and I was like, all right, moment of truth. You ready? He's like, yeah, dude, yeah. and he has the camera out and he doesn't even have to lift it. The woman walks over. She's about a 55-year-old, maybe 60-year-old WASP. Nice lady, wearing a mask, just smiles. I could see it in her eyes. And she's like, oh, just need an ID check. I was like, yeah, it must be a real pain in the ass to check IDs these days. Everybody wearing masks. Yeah, you have to check a little bit, be a little bit more scrutinizing with it, that's for sure. And I was like, she's like, there you go, hon, thanks. 81, huh? Yep.
Nice.
All right. That was a wrap. I swear on my life, we both walked out of there with our jaws almost on the floor, just like, and he goes, I can't believe, what the hell? And I was like, this gives me hope for humanity. At least right here in this pocket of little old Armpit, Wisconsin, which is essentially just a bleed of Chicago people into Milwaukee. We get it, and people aren't that. It's that bad.
Because I've been doing it up here. Because like if I'm with my girl and my boy, they're pretty down with the whole show. My girl's pretty skeptical. She's pretty sick of it, but she's still like, all right, let's play along. And
Not to.
but if I'm by myself, I just walk in and just act like it's nothing, and people don't. They envy you. They
Yeah.
really envy you.
Look,
I've noticed that, like, a lot of times, if I'm walking around without a mask on, people that are wearing a mask, especially like men, like they're walking out of the store, or they're walking along the aisles, and they see me not wearing one, they immediately started, like, either adjusting theirs, like they're immediately aware of it, or they, like, pull it down, like, oh shit, I'm embarrassed, and they pull it down.
Yeah.
Like, at least for while I'm walking by. So they're like, oh, he's not, so I won't.
Oh, there's this podcast called The Quash, Quash, and it's this lawyer. He doesn't use his name, but he calls himself Legal Man on Twitter. Maybe you follow him on Twitter, Legal Man, and he's going off about all the COVID shit on his little podcast, and it's only like 20-30 minutes at a time, and it's really good. And he had this idea that if everybody used a little neck gaiter, where you just pull it up, just a neck gaiter,
right?
Like you pull it up over your face. He said that everyone should just get those, and like as soon as you have to go past the little gatekeeper at Walmart, you put it up, and as soon as you get past them, pull it down. And if somebody comes up to you, says anything, say, "Oh, I'm sorry," and just put it up again. And then as soon as they turn around, just pull it back down. And then everyone should do that. And then there's no way they could release it anymore because everyone would be like, all right, every time you ask me to, I have it.
I'm wearing it. I swear I'm wearing it.
Yeah,
it's like a little
kid. You turn around and like go back to shopping for your cereal and just push it back down.
Yeah, dude.
I think that's a pretty good idea. But you guys should check out Legal Man's podcast. He's on Twitter as Legal Man, and he's good. He's nice. He's a lawyer. He's a lawyer for 30 years.
Common sense guy.
Yeah, anybody's come to terms with the idea that everything is a lie. Like he's a lawyer, like he's like the whole legal system's a lie, everything's a lie, like almost every single thing you could possibly imagine is a lie, and he's completely come to terms with it. He's like, oh, the whole world's bullshit, right? It's like it's just a big fuck you game, and and good stuff. You guys should check it out.
That sounds awesome, and I'm gonna check that. I can't wait, dude. Seriously, it's like the stuff that Charles A. Hoffman, or whatever the second, was talking about recently too. It's all one big psychodrama. End of story. That's just like, and research it, going back into like James Shelby Downard.
Who's
like
that?
The King Killed,
James.
the King Killed 33.
I'm not sure.
He was like a nomad kind of cat. SB, you know who he is, right? He was on Feral House.
King Kill 30. Yeah, I was gonna say King Kill 33 sounds really familiar.
Yeah, Adam
No.
Palfried.
You're gonna have to give me the Reader's Digest on that
A lot
one.
of Freeland, you know a lot.
Yeah, I met a lot of Freeland in Portland. I met her.
Yeah,
in person.
she, all of her books are on Feral House. They were on Feral House Press, which is like the punk rock. That's the punk rock label to be on if you're writing books. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Who is she?
Yeah, okay.
Shout out to my boy T. Krulos in Milwaukee, because he's on. T. Krulos is was local guy, and he's with Feral House as well, and he writes. He's a great writer. And we're gonna have him on the show too. He was gonna be on one of the.
Lana Freeman's all about.
But
Kim
Freeland
Trill
worked with. Yeah, she knew Downard though. She knew James Shelby Downard and Michael A. Hoffman. She's very close with them, and she.
Oh, you mean
outside
Michael Hoffman, like the guy who's living up in Idaho here, and he's writing all the books about the strange religion of the Jews and everything and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
So,
Yep. He's called an
okay,
anti-Semite. Yep. All that.
yeah,
He's
I've
not.
followed Michael Hoffman since before anyone.
Thank you.
Is
So
he-
secret societies and mass psychological operations.
Yeah, yeah.
1994, 92, 94. Yeah, that's him. He's written one of the first ever. You know, like.
He's on Twitter too. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's him. Yep. So that's Feral House, man, because
He just met the other day with. He just went and told on Twitter. He dropped a little video link for his YouTube, and he told a story about how he went and met. He went and met with.
Downard.
No, the Honorable Reverend Louis Farrakhan.
Oh,
and
awesome.
Went to his house and had dinner and all this stuff. So
That's awesome.
I did a
don't
piece
hate-
of digital art of Farrakhan the other day just for fun, just like somebody dropped a really hilarious picture. I follow lots of black people on Twitter because I love their vibe, especially the financial and like entrepreneurial black guys on Twitter and
Dude,
girls too. That they just drop so much game about how to make extra money and do all this like
Bro,
so much straight game. It's awesome. But then somebody dropped this hilarious picture of Farrakhan like looking all poised and like arrogant with his hands in his lap. So I did my SB Alger treatment to it, and changed it all around. So
Dude,
I did one of Gaddafi too.
I think I might have saw that one. I think that one was good. They're all good, but I know exactly what you mean with black culture and that kind of thing. Where I grew up is here. And this is like when I'd go to Milwaukee and we'd play shows when I was like 15, 16. At like I was in like straight edge metalcore. You know what I mean? Like that scene back in the late 90s. And we play with like Atmosphere, where it was like hip hop. But like Slug from Atmosphere up in Minneapolis, they're huge. Like Rhyme Sayers Crew, all those dudes. Anyway, point is they used to be involved with all the hardcore kids. Like they play shows with us at like the skate parks, right?
Right.
Well, we'd run into after shows. We'd go up there. In Milwaukee, we'd play a show, and then we'd all meet at either like Feel Cafe or Pizza Shuttle was the place. It's open till like 3 o'clock in the morning, and everybody could go there. So we'd all meet at Pizza Shuttle, and then we would. Basically, I remember overhearing a table full of like gangsters, straight up. You know what I'm saying? Like money was all over that table, and they're like, "Where are y'all from?" And I was like, "Racine." They was like, "Yo, let's play a show." There was like huge table, and they're just like, "Damn, y'all from Racine? That place is, whew, you think Milwaukee's bad?" Talking to everybody at the table. I was like, "What is going on right now?" And then we realized, yeah, this place is pretty notorious for being like the Gary, Indiana of Wisconsin, when Gary, Indiana is only right around right down the bend. But the culture, like, it's super integrated here, so it's like I know what you mean with that entrepreneurial spirit.
No, that's how I grew up in Sacramento, and Walla Walla, obviously, to see a black person is a miracle. And I know lots of black people in Walla Walla just because like we magnetize to each other because. Like a lot of people have always made fun of me just for the way I talk, because I talk like I was raised in North Sacramento, so I have a natural kind of street language.
Yeah, no.
It's in me.
I can hear it. I can hear it. Yeah. It's part of the dialect. You can't control that. That's you. That's what makes you you.
No, I wouldn't want to anyway. I'm in California. I was born in California. I have that great honor and privilege to be that arrogant cunt that's from California. It's not
fucking right, and own it in that eloquent manner. and own it in such a very eloquent manner. Seriously, man. No, I get it. It's a weird. It's not weird. It's just a beautiful. I can recognize that spark. You know what I'm saying?
See
Like,
Jim's Trump in the background? That's a Trump he sculpted. That's what that is back there on his video.
I was wondering what that was. I didn't see because it's new. That's
yeah,
awesome.
that's a Trump sculpture. He sculpted that live during Picture Show.
Dude,
'Cause
that's
we did
so
3 or
rad.
4 episodes where Tracy Twyman would read random selections from books, and I would paint, and he would sculpt, and we'd make art while she would read aloud. Yeah. We can get back into something like that.
Dude, that's
Once
why
I
we
get
want to
set up
tap
over-
into this.
My-
I
my
know what you're
girl's not
doing.
even gonna- My girl's not even gonna have me looking for work out here because she makes good money. So she's like, "Why don't you just go ahead and become an entrepreneur and do what you want to do?" And so I'm just gonna start live streaming a lot and try to
Bro.
just ramp it up to make money with art and music and make money with. I'm taking
You
a
have
a
to.
certification from this Beth Martin's lady about how to do. They call it a release.
I know. I know who Beth Martins is.
I'm taking her course right now. I took my Trump bucks and dumped it in there so that I probably only got 3 or 4 months left, and I'll be certified to help people do emotional release techniques. And
That's a really good idea. I've been I don't mean to like interrupt, but your line there, but because I'm kind of in a situation where I'm like, well, it's like I could go this way or this way right now, or I could add this, right? And I'm gonna go with the add this, and because I'm at that point where it's like, what? I'm 39. I'll be 40 soon. I'm divorced. I have no children. Don't really have much. Like, I've got a little family, but not really. And what the hell? I'm gonna continue to be happy doing what I want. I'm not gonna, go dedicate 40, 50 hours a week slave, unless I absolutely positively have to. As selfish and as that sounds, but right now it's a little bit. I've always been in the service industry, running restaurants, doing that, and then playing music and being able to tour, because that's comes with when you're in the service industry. I can just, I can run the front of house, I can run whatever you need me to do, but you guys know I'm gonna leave for a couple months, and you're cool with that. And I always have that's always. So that's been my jam, but it's always been like I've always made a couple nights a week where I'd spin records for, you know what I mean, and luckily I have a lot of friends, current friends. Shout out to all of y'all business owners, and I know you're just a good, kind restaurant, Cactus Club, everybody like struggling out there. It's tough, but those are like institutions now in Milwaukee, some older, some newer institutions, but like my close friends own these places, and it's tough to, and the thing is, I was like,
try to suffocate us all right now. I hope that they're able to do deliveries and out in Walla Walla, there's a bunch of outdoor seating. And just follow all the stupid little rules and keep making money so you don't go under.
Exactly. And I'm talking. I don't know. We probably know some of the same people because shouts to Paul Zirkle. He ran He was the head chef of multiple restaurants out in Portland, and he moved out here to Milwaukee about 15 years ago, 15 years ago maybe.
Jim might know him. I mean, I've been to Portland as a tourist over and over again, but I never.
Oh, I didn't know if you lived out there as well. I thought, okay.
But Jim definitely was. I mean, that's his scene. That's home. That's the home front for Jim.
Okay. So you're okay.
I mean,
Get this, Sean. I gotta ask you this because this has been on my been a topic lately that I've relayed. Well, this is a crazy situation, but my friend, grew up in Sacramento. You lived around Sacramento. Have you ever heard of the Sacramento Mission?
Oh, it sounds familiar. I was there when I was young. We moved right about the time I was 16. So, but that sounds really familiar. The Sacramento Mission.
Can I just say why? You have no idea. It's super vague, right? What I say, the Sacramento Mission, right? You could. The mind kind of goes to, if you have no idea what we're talking about, like it goes to a possible help from a Catholic style, or there's also that's kind of where the mind automatically goes. Okay, so. I have 2 very, very close friends. They were very close friends in middle school and high school. There's no reason to make any of this up. So the story, but basically they went to San Francisco in 2000, before 9/11, I know that much. So it was like in 2000, so they must have been only 18. And they ended up staying out there for a while with their friend Jesse in California, and then in San Luis Obispo, and then ended up homeless in the streets of San Francisco. And they ended up getting picked up. My friend David and Garrett got picked up by these girls that were and they were looking for marks, clearly it was. And they gave them knew they were homeless, because you can obviously pick out homeless Midwestern kids a mile away. We're all wearing all black. Anyway, yeah, so they end up, these two cute girls, whatever, like, yeah, you should come up to the mission. And they had like flyers for the place and all this. And they had nowhere else to go. They had nothing but a guitar, acoustic guitar and like a bag on their backpack, each of them. So they agreed and went. And they said it was this giant, like mansion style home, like on a huge set of acreage, right? And they felt at home, but they knew something was a little off. They said all these people that were staying there were special needs, a lot of special needs people, aged all the way, 70s, all the way down to, toddlers. Okay.
Right.
They both said about 20 people total lived in this house. So we're talking a big ass place, right? Or multiple people to a room, but big. Now, there was like a few people that were kind of like, if you look at it in a cult structure, the way I'm looking at it, you'd see like maybe the hierarchy is a couple cute girls, and or what have you, and like a madam sort of character, you know what I mean? So there's a couple like saying it's gonna be good, child, you're safe here, it's all good until you figure out you can leave whenever you want, that kind of thing. Let them know that, blah blah blah, and they're like, okay, this is weird, but whatever, this is an adventure, right? That's how they look at it. And after about 2 days, they're out like working in the field, and they have tons of acreage out there, right? So they're out there working, and they both get the idea that, oh shit, because they had discovered some things on the property late at night when they weren't supposed to be out running. That's before smartphones and all that shit. So think about it like this: they're just investigating, like, where are we? What is this? Like, what's in this room? You know what I mean? That type of curious behavior.
Yeah.
Be like that. And they find like a room with literally like meth paraphernalia, and I mean, we're talking. I remember doing a decent amount of drugs during the retelling of this account from my best friend Garrett of this whole story. So mind you, when he's telling me there's paraphernalia, this isn't just someone randomly. This is someone who knows their shit, right? This isn't just some kid.
Yeah.
What do that? I just want to emphasize that. And like a pentagram. Not only that, I was like, a pentagram. What are you? He's like, yeah, there was like we thought that was really stupid and weird, and it wasn't an inverted pentagram, it was a normal pentagram. Spray painted on one of the walls in that room where they found the drugs. And like, it was super weird. It was like a scene out of like a movie or a book where it's like, it just was too much. You know what I mean? Like, this seems on purpose. You know what I mean? Like, we were meant to see it almost, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. So they realized, oh shit, this is just. We don't know where we are, but we know we need to get out of here before Stockholm Syndrome or something sinks in. So they make a plan, and they're like, all right, let's do it. They keep it quiet and keep it cool. They go back to the house when the day's work is done, and they go to their room to kind of gather all their shit up and kind of get ready to get out. And none of their clothes, all their stuff is gone when they go back to their room. Like, they had already picked up on the fact that they're hip to us, like whatever sort of thing. So they flipped out, and as they're like looking for their stuff and asking what happened, they're like, "Oh, you messed up." Like, two of the people are like, the special needs people are like, "You messed up bad. You messed up bad." And I can only playing this in my head. It's like a nut horror movie, right? Yeah. So get this. So they end up like bugging out a little bit, and like, where is this so and so leader dude now? I don't remember the leader's name, and I don't think he had like a very memorable name, so it wasn't like, where's David Koresh? But yeah, they're looking, and all of a sudden there's a meeting called, and mind you, they had met Garrett when in the retelling had mentioned me that these meetings would be called, and like a bell would ring almost like it was a school, and they'd all meet and they'd walk out to a big red barn that was about 50 to 75 yards away from the main house. The homestead. And I'm like, big red, boy, this has all the symbols, doesn't it? And now that I'm retelling it, it does have all the symbols. But he said the sun started to go down, they kept us waiting in our room with none of our stuff, like saying, we'll see you now sort of situation, right? Like, the master will see you. Anyway, they're like, so they get walked out of their room, and I'll never forget this, they all walked single file at twilight out to this infamous now, almost dilapidated giant red barn on this property, and they're in single file line. I'm like, Garrett, did any of you guys have a gun or anything? Like, the person in the front had a shotgun and the person in the back had a shotgun. That's all that was. I was like, what the hell? So as they're walking, they made it about halfway in this, mind you, single file line, and Garrett swears, and I've heard the story 3 times now retold, that they both turned and booked and ran as fast as they possibly could. And I was like, did you look back? They're like, no, we didn't look back once. It's like, holy shit. Now, they said they ran for what felt like 2 hours because there was like an open field, like a valley. Like, that's how he painted it. And then there's this forest, right? And that sounds about right. Or hills. I don't know the country out there very well, but this is Sacramento. And they ended up, he said, finally, freezing cold but pouring sweat in the middle of the hood. And I'm sure there's multiple hoods there, obviously, but they said it was really bad.
All it is.
Yeah, right? That's what I've heard. They said it was so bad. But they were being taken care of by the hood, and this is the most heartwarming, beautiful thing. This is how I know the hood myself, personally, is they asked, what the hell's wrong with y'all? What the hell happened to y'all? You know, when they get into the hood, like, y'all need something to drink? Like, what y'all need? Like, they told them the story that they were running from a cult, essentially. They didn't know it's called the mission, quote unquote. And that all of a sudden they're like, oh man, that's so effed up. And they're like, and we're here from Wisconsin. We don't have any money to get back. They stole all our money, all of our clothes, everything, our Greyhound money to get home to Milwaukee, this and the other. The whole hood pitched in, gave them like 2 jackets and bought them both tickets for the next bus out of California back here to Wisconsin.
Nice.
Now,
yeah, that's the way it should be, man.
That's
cool.
That's the way I know. That's the way I know the hood. So that's me.
If you come up into the hood being all scared and weird and like looking like a mark, you get rolled because you're supposed to get rolled. But if you come in just being straight up and you're not being cocky or stupid, then they'll just take care of you. I mean, there might be somebody that decides they still don't like you, but for the most part, everyone will just chill because they don't want no static. It's the safest place to be.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
I wouldn't go back to my old neighborhood because I don't know nobody there, and it was really bad. So it's not like you don't want to just walk up in there because they might just roll you anyway, just because there ain't nothing to have. So
exactly.
You know, you got something. You got a note 10 plus. Huh? We'll hand it over.
Yeah.
You know,
It's fine now.
Unlock it for me, and I'll shoot you or whatever. You know?
Right, and also knowing that there's gonna be extortion at some point, so just deal with it and be with it and understand that that's just not extortion. It's part of life. That's it.
Tax.
You know what I'm saying? Not just tax. I'm saying from a hood perspective, and I will speak from that and say F anybody that wants to question it. Because I'll bring fools. What? I don't need anybody telling me anything anyway. Like the whole BLM thing, there's a bunch of things that are okay with it and a bunch of things that are really messed up with it, but the people that I'm friends with can at least see through that, and I've only seen like 1 or 2 ACAB messages that I know are just like, you're just being stupid and reactionary and angry. I understand where you're coming from, but that's just really irresponsible in my opinion, and it's lazy. It's lazy. You're gonna have some.
I understand that all of us are under different levels of being managed and controlled and scripted as groups, and right now they've got the black people in the spotlight. You know, and
they don't already know this either. Like that's the beauty.
They know. They're always in the spotlight. They know better than anybody because they've been fucked more than anybody else.
But I'm saying the funny situations that come into play here in Racine is like going into a gas station late at night and having like me just sparking up a conversation with the black dude next to me and saying, "Damn, shit is so messed up, ain't it? Trying to get us to hate each other just because for no damn reason. Like we don't see how obvious it is." And this was right during late night. And he looked at me. He was like, "You are just so yup. It's exactly. They're just trying to get us to hate each other, and they can't even get us to do that." And I was like, "Damn right." And I was like, "Peace, man." Like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like a joke. It's a joke to the real people. And I mean and indoctrinated is thrown around so much, but damn it, man, it's true. The indoctrination is real at these schools. It's such a slippery slope, but it's from every angle that we can't isolate.
They have to try and brainwash us all the time, our whole lives long. They try and brainwash us all day, every day. It just shows that if they let too many people slip through, this whole thing tips upside down real easy. It's really odd.
Exactly. And it works. And also obviously by them not having school right now, you know, for the most part, and having this distance learning thing, can you guys imagine how much BS these kids are being pumped? Because think about the dinosaurs and bullshit was pumped into our brains when shit wasn't even that messed up. Now things are like crazy crunch time for these teachers. My mom's just retired, 10 years ago or something from teaching. And she's getting, in her Facebook group, seeing these teachers are flipping out. They can't do anything, in these, whatever. The point is I can't imagine with social media, with all the things that these kids have to deal with today, and then trying to learn, especially the super young ones. This is perfect, like shooting fish in a barrel almost for like powers that be.
Plus, most kids, if they're at home, they don't have their cameras turned on. They're playing with their toys and not paying attention anyway, chasing their kitty cat around.
Jim, I saw one kid he already figured out how to he recorded him, either one little boy or little girl. I saw it on Facebook. They figured out how to roll camera and record themselves.
Or hacking.
Watching, that's awesome.
So that they know for sure that it looks like they're in class, but they're just doing whatever the fuck they want, And that's what they got to remember. The Streisand effect is real. These little kids know it better than anybody.
What's the Streisand effect?
Go around.
What?
The internet sees any kind of censorship as damage, and it just goes around it. Like if right now they say, hey, just like when, like I would say U2 is a perfect reverse Streisand effect example. Like they shove their album on everybody's iPhone, and everyone just immediately gets it off of there. Like, get this away from me. I don't want this here, And if tomorrow they say, this is the video you guys aren't allowed to watch, we'll all have it on flash drive, handing it to each other at the fucking gas station in less than an hour because it's damage, and so we just go around it. And this Generation Z shit, they see that 10 times faster and more effective than we are. They've all essentially already created intelligence agencies just by nature. They don't have to read a book. They just because I can remember plainly when all this shit wasn't like this. We're old enough to remember. I'm a little bit older than you guys, but we're old enough to remember when tech was like the newfangled thing that was like, if you were wealthy, you had it. If you were poor, you really had to struggle to get access to it. But it wasn't around. I told my mom I wanted her to either buy me a computer or a piano for my 18th birthday, and she bought me a computer. It wasn't hooked to the internet. It was just a Windows 95 or Windows 3.1.
We had our 26. We had 28.8 modems and our 14.4s, and we had to go through the Prodigy.
What is the Streisand effect?
Streisand
effect is. Okay, so it started with Barbara Streisand wanting some picture or something. I think it was a picture. She's like, oh my God, that's ugly. Take it off the internet. And so she tried to delete her picture she didn't like off the internet. And of course the internet's like, no, we're going to publish this. We're going to amplify this to the maximum.
Yeah, of course.
Well, they should have.
So that's what coined the term Streisand effect. They're getting pretty good at it now. They're getting pretty good at censoring us now because we've kind of gotten lazy. All their platforms,
reputation management,
right? Yeah, I wonder what do you recommend, Sean? What do you think about like circumventing, or not circumventing, but getting around? I'm sorry, that's the wrong word. Getting around certain things. I wonder with like because this is new to me, you guys. Like I'm normally the DIY punk rock dude booking shows, playing shows. I know that game pretty well. And then what I mean? Like that's been my hustle, not my hustle, but that's been where I've run. But from a strict DIY standpoint, you know what I mean? All the way up to talking to label people, but that's done and that's all over now for the most part, right? So it's like, I'm the live streaming thing and wanting to do a podcast and jump into this took me years before of doing research, right? Like reading and making sure I understand what I feel is a well-rounded knowledge of all things strange for the most part, like almost like a Fortean, essentially like a Fortean researcher, right? Yeah. So
it's like going through conspiracy college, and then once you start to stream, that's like you're working on your graduate school stuff.
Like I feel
like about the avians and
like this with this tech aspect. Like, okay, so I remember having to make pages. That's a good point, Jim. No, seriously, it's right. It's exactly it. It's like making web pages. Fine, I could do that. Hosting a blog spot where I would review obscure, heavy funk and soul and metal and stuff from all over the world that nobody's really heard of or listening to. that I've discovered that, well, this is amazing, because it's fun records. You know what I mean? Like, so I collect, collect vinyl. Blah blah. Point is having to power through that and like upkeep a website, and then coming and doing this. Last time I pretty much had my website going, like, was serious about it, was probably like 2015 was when I really hustled. You know what I mean? With band stuff and whatever. shameless self-promotion. It's got to be done. But it's almost like coming back to it after 4 years of not participating is hard. Like, purposely, no notifications on Facebook for me. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. No. Twitter's the only thing I engage with regularly, but I don't even have notifications turned on for that, really. It's like approaching it from a different standpoint. It's kind of, I mean, I know I'm a little bit all over, I'm stoned, so I don't apologize, but whatever. But it's just weird to jump into this live stream because you and Jim did it for, a couple of years or whatever. So this is like a new arena for me. I don't know why that has anything to do with anything at this juncture, and I apologize.
No, it's because the reason we got into this vibe, this mode you're in right now, is because you started to ask what's the take, what's the approach, and
to get around
YouTube was already starting to suck, bro. Even when me and Jim were starting to do it, it was already starting to suck, and we were already self-policing, and like me and Jim and Tracy would talk about areas to be kind of careful of,
Sure.
to not get the stream dinged, whether it be copyrighted material
and then
or subject matter.
The fault situation.
Yeah, we found if you go find that stream, like there's a time when one of our top fans and guests, who's actually doing a stream now called the
prescription only people or the over the counter people show.
Over the counter people show.
What?
Some of our fans.
Okay, yeah.
It's on Spotify, I think. And
well, the one guy.
Yeah,
said, Foucault is a huge postmodernist child sex advocate, right?
Foucault. Yeah.
Oh, that I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And so somebody said that on the stream, and then somebody tried to type it in the chat, and we noticed immediately that the chat was being censored. If you typed Foucault was a huge postmodernist child sex advocate into the chat, it was being censored, and so the thing I would
it would not show up.
Like all these little
we had
weird little stuff like that, like ways that were being censored.
Yeah.
That don't.
We had everybody try to type it in, and it wouldn't show up. It just wouldn't show up.
Yeah, it interrupted the whole show. It went from vibing and talking with Tracy to somebody trying to type it in, and it's being censored.
It's because
everybody jumped on their keyboard.
It's because we had a Discord also, and those people were in the Discord, so they could tell us.
You could sick them out.
Police it as you were going.
Yeah, no, I get it. This is why.
But why would you program that into an algorithm to censor somebody saying Foucault is
a something
child smacks blood?
What if you had said he's a wonderful, loving human being? You know what I mean?
That's fine.
It was still went through. That's weird, and that's what we started doing. Started spacing it out. Like what happens if you start dropping pieces in there to try and trick the algorithm, and you could get it to work, but. So it just shows how sophisticated the AI and everything is. And the thing I think we need to all do, as hard as it's going to be, is to start from the ground up and start building our own platforms, not just for regular websites and stuff, but we need to figure out how to start making not just rely on DLive and everything.
A free network.
Game streaming,
And start, because, Tracy was trying to do that too. She went and bought a little streaming box, and she was going to make one of her computers into a little streaming hub, into a server just for streaming, and she worked hard on it. She was smart. I mean, all of her website stuff was all her own. She didn't have any webmaster. She was doing all
crazy.
that.
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, and she worked hard on it, and finally just took it back and got her money back. And I was gonna get my buddies involved, because I know the guys that are server guys that know Linux, and they're big time server guys. That's what they do.
Sure.
They server side, and but I think we should definitely look into it and find out what's it take for us to have the platform, us to have the only thing that we have to worry about at all is our internet service.
And the service. The service too.
If we could make enough money, we could start our own ISP. That would be something. But other than that, we have to rely on an ISP. But other than that, have the entire platform be linear, be us. All the websites, us. All the audios, us. All the videos, us. All the apps or whatever, either us or people that we trust, like all the guys that you know from the music industry or all the guys that we know from tech or from the art world, and we put it all into a linear thing. And then and not only that, but what I would do is, and this is dangerous to say this part, because if they're listening, here you go, here's the information you need to hold against us. But if it was me, I would design the whole thing so that it's all honey potted out, so that if we already know by what routes they're gonna attack.
Latches, yep.
Yeah, and put it all right in there so that it's very obvious to us when they start trying to tag on to us and hold and spy on us. Look at mines.
So like what are you saying?
Yep, set up landmines.
Like what?
Set up honeypots. They come start messing with us and they want to
go
around, or they want to
notice.
We turn it around on them.
Exactly. We set landmines up. They trip on them. We see them explode from a mile up at the top of the hill.
The same shit they do to us. That's genius.
We just see the smoke signal. That's all we need to see is a smoke signal from them, and we know that, oh, blew one of them up. Gotta watch that.
And the way that I see it is, if we're going to do that, the whole purpose isn't to laugh and high five. It's to see them coming and to befriend them and draw them in and keep your enemies closer. You know, like bring them right in. Like, come on, guys, what's up?
Exactly.
You know, let's kick it. You know, and until
that's what they do to us
when it's time for the opposite. You know.
Yep. We just need code words. That's it.
Then one day they're at the Racine mission and they don't know what the hell happened to them.
I'm fucking not on. I'm not even kidding. This story when my friend Garrett told me this, the following day, actually the following probably 72 hours, I was no shit. I was on my Time Warner Roadrunner high speed internet, because we did have that hooked up. I made sure I had that in 2001. Searching all over, whatever I could find with the mission tied to anything in Cali, and I found some stuff in San Antonio. I was like, what? And San Diego. And I'm like, this isn't the right mission, but I wonder if this is run by this. I bet it is. And mind you, it's pre-9/11, so there's like, it's not that much. You're not going into it thinking that much yet. And then I called the Sacramento Bee. That's how horrible. I left out so many details. You guys don't even have a clue. Seriously, I called them, spoke to the editor there. I told them what happened. I spoke to multiple investigative journalists at every news station, every 3-letter news station out there. They tried to send me to, I believe, someone in Sonoma County. I can't remember who it was, but I remember being in Sonoma County to speak to them. But they said the guy from the Sacramento Bee said this, and it was a quote: "We've known about them for a while, but with the two-party laws in California, there's absolutely zero we can do about it."
Interesting.
So,
and knowledge that they put this up though. That reminds, I can't think of what it is, bro, but there's everything you described. It's just like this interview. I don't know if it was on Jason Horsley's Liminalist podcast or a different podcast.
Shout out to Jason. I have 3 years. Dogville.
Was that?
I have a shout out to Jason Horsley because I have Vice of Kings and I have Prisoner of Infinity on its way actually, and Dogville versus Hollywood. Jason's a great guy. I like him a lot.
Yeah. I go back to his stuff over and over again. I wish he would talk a little bit louder, because when I try to listen to him on my headphones, it's fine. But if I listen to my car, it's so quiet. Come on, Jason.
He's gonna come on this. I get him. Show. I've already talked to him. Do you?
Oh yeah, cool.
You be on with us? Would you want to?
Yeah, I'll talk to Jason for sure. I've
Awesome.
always imagined having a conversation with him, and him and I have talked in email probably 4 or 5 times about getting me onto his podcast, and I totally said yes, and it just always fell through. And I probably still will go on there eventually if he's still down, just because it seems like a good vibe and the right thing to do.
Totally.
And, I just love Jason Horton, and he's really been a huge influence on my life and my work, and he's like he seems like a really good, like he's anchored down in a smart way in the middle of all the chaos and weirdness, and he's skeptical in the right ways, and he's also grounded in the right
movies. And he's like us. He's got good taste in like what we consider good taste in art and movies and like all that. Like he ticks all the boxes for me. Like whoa, I love
the way he edits the weird songs and to interrupt his long podcasts and stuff. Sometimes I dig on that music. I always tell myself I'm going to go download it, and I never do. But I did buy one album because of him. It was They call it Dead Cinema, and it's a guy that was on Twitter for a while. He's been a guest on there. He's a really got a kind of in a malaise in his name. He did Uncanny Valley. I tried to put it on around Jim at work, and Jim's like, "Dude, this is too depressing. I can't kick it with Uncanny Valley."
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it was. It's
kind of video game.
It was good, but
it's a video game too. But this guy did a podcast, and it's like
I know it was Uncanny Valley. It's I know that. I'm just saying. I just remember seeing a video game recently of it or something.
Yeah, I just get Uncle. He calls himself Uncle. Is not Jeb. It's really close to that, but I just can't think of it. You know. But he's chill. I haven't seen him around. I hope he's okay because he's openly depressed. Like he's a depressed person. And that's what Jim. When Jim told me it was too depressing for him, I was like, oh, I'm probably a little depressed right now. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
It's a joke in my group of friends. Like, you can't really listen to Elliott Smith. Like, you know, that's not good.
I got great Elliott Smith.
I love Elliott Smith, dude. But I mean, you know, like, I've been in situations where that's all I listen to is Elliott Smith and John P. Shawnee. And you know, so it's just a clue for your ass that you're hella depressed because if you're in that.
Just on and chill out, right? But hold on, seriously. How about I listen to, and I don't give a shit. You know what makes me happy is Figure 8 makes me happy. That's a happy record. Junk Box Trader, when it goes right, it's so great. And then it Son of Sam. These are like brilliant, just catchy, like Beatles-esque quality, like better than the Beatles. And then you get Basement on a Hill. I think that's a phenomenally underrated. From Basement Island, that's the double when he died, just before he died, or after he died. That is a phenomenally underrated record, and I remember, and obviously Roman Candles. I mean, all of his records are phenomenal, but I'm a huge fan, and I've got funny, weird little 1 degree separation stories. Because Leslie from Murder City Devils, I dated her for a minute. Shout out to Leslie from Murder City. I miss Murder City Devils so much. Keyboard player. Anyway, let's see. But what was it? Damn it, I lost it.
You guys were talking about Elliott Smith.
Elliott Smith. Oh yeah. I want to say it's if you. I don't. Do you really guys find his shit that depressing? I mean, honestly.
To me, it's not that. It's not. To me, it's not just that every song is depressing. It's just that if you're into it, and if it's like all you're stuck on. To me, it's always been like a red flag or a clue that I'm actually enjoying my own personal depression, and I need to take a step up.
It's like a wallowing. It's like waving the flag.
Because
I'm
it's
proud
like
to damn it.
It's like absolute romanticizing.
Right.
Yeah, you can't get any more romantic about absolute certain death than Elliott Smith slamming heroin and fucking singing about it, man. Come on.
Yeah. Christian brother's gonna, like. Oh man.
I mean, I could still play 2 or 3 of his songs, but we used to do a tribute show every year. Me and my buddies that were in the Panacea, RX Only Panacea, with our band. That's where the RX Only comes from.
I wasn't in it. It was before my time.
He's still in it right now. He just never played with us.
I am the keyboarder. A keyboarder.
No, you're a pianist. He's a pianist. Sorry.
Watch your mouth.
I know you love him, Jim. I forgive you. He's a racist. Anyway, what?
No, we knew a girl in Walla Walla, a beautiful lady, who owned a wine bar, and she was friends with Elliott Smith, and she used to like go see him in Portland and like kick it with him backstage. And she actually dated Kurt Cobain when she was in high school and all this stuff. She did one of my most favorite stories she ever told me was that her ex-husband was the guy who did pyrotechnics on like Killer Clowns in Outer Space and all these other ones. Remember the hats that the Chili Peppers had that had a huge flame on top?
Yes.
Yeah, he built those hats, and when he was doing all the stuff to supply those guys and make sure the hats worked right, he tried to introduce her to Anthony Kiedis, who's just a short little stubby guy, by the way. He's like only 5'.
That guy's a fucking rapist.
And so my friend told me that her husband's like all nervous, like trying to introduce her to Anthony Kiedis, and then she shoved him out of the way and ran up into the tour bus because there was Guinness in an ice chest, and she's like, "Oh my God, Guinness beer!" And she like shoved Anthony Kiedis out of the way.
and ran up in the bus and grabbed a Guinness, and I was like, "You're my
Nice.
fucking
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
greatest forever!" Like push
Screw
him
her.
literally out of the way and get a Guinness. I love you forever. She knew Elliott Smith personally because she was affiliated with the whole, rock and roll entertainment music industry. And so we used to play every year after he died at her wine bar. Me and my buddies would get together and do an acoustic set and sit there and drink Chimay and just, I've got probably the worst one we ever did. I've got it on video, of course, not any of the great shows, but the one that sounds like shit. And we're like not together and I'm singing all flat. I've got that one on tape somewhere.
Dude, I don't know what it is, man. I love it. I do know what it is. I love Elliott Smith, Little Elliot. That's what that's what Leslie called him all the time. Like, and the funny thing is, too bad John isn't here anymore because he's like, I found out one of my close friends, buddies, whatever. Andy Hurley is the drummer of Fall Out Boy, and Andy was a dead ringer years ago when he was like when he was like 20, 18, 19, 20. He looked, when Leslie came down Murder City, I'll never forget, he called me, he's like, "You're back, I heard you're with Murder City Devils and Dillinger Ford." I'm like, "Yeah, we're downstairs at the Globe right now. I'm hanging out with them right now. They're playing 2 shows." And he goes, "Well, do you think maybe you could get me in?" And this is before Fall Out Boy and all that stuff. And I was like, "Sure, dude, whatever. I'm sure you can add. Can I get a +1? Yeah, it's all good. Sure, dude, your name's at the front. It's all good. Come on, come downstairs when you get here." So he comes over. He had been getting tattooed literally for 12 or 14 hours straight. He's got like his entire, he's got everything done, right? And he had lost so much blood. I'll never forget. It's just a goofy, funny story. I'm not trying to name drop. I don't give a shit. Andy Hurley, what's up, buddy? He's out in Portland now, by the way. He was out there. I don't know if I'm supposed to. Fuck City, Portland 2.0. What up? Anyway. What up, Kyle? Anyway, Andy came in there. He had lost so much blood. He comes down the stairs of the Globe, which is a legendary Milwaukee rock and roll punk rock club. Comes downstairs of the Globe and walks up. He's like, "Hey, hey, Barski, hey, guys." And he could barely walk. He's hunched over. Mind you, he's about 5'5". I'm 6'1", so he's not a big dude. He's 5'6", maybe. Super skinny, but Leslie starts freaking out the second she sees him. And I'm like, "What the hell are you doing?" And she goes, "It's Little Elliot. It's Little Elliot. Look, look." Lurch is Derek Fudesco from Murder City, and he's in Pretty Girls Make Graves too, or whatever. And he's the tall bass player. He's just like, "Oh my God, Gabe, call it, Sever. Spence, get over here. You gotta see this." And they're like, "Who is this? How did he get?" And they're like, "How the hell did Elliot?" And it was hilarious, man. He's like,
That's funny.
It's because bass players are just like drummers, except for good looking and talented. Just kidding. I just made that one up. It was.
No, I know you did. I know you did. No.
Sorry.
So yeah, that's it. No, it's just funny. He's the dead ringer for Elliott Smith, and I'll know that's just a funny ass story because it's like, then all of a sudden 3 years later, I'm living in Austin, just moved down there and walking down the drag at Guadalupe, and I look to my right, I see Tower Records, and I see a 15-foot tall Andy Hurley and Pete Wentz plastered, and I had no idea because it was like a joke band, literally, because they're all in crazy hardcore metal bands, you know. So it's like, what is
Frickin'
my
joke
life? And
bands.
John Brisson, who was just on, is a huge Fall Out Boy fan. Haha, John, you know you love them. So, yeah, it's just funny. Like last night, he's like, "Wait a minute, see you?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude, big deal." But it's fun. It is really random and funny. But they're all in Portland now. They all moved. They sold the quote unquote fuck. It was called the Fuck City Mansion. It was like a $2 million lake house on Lake Michigan, private beach and shit. It was awesome. We had a lot of fun there for a lot of years. And then they all just picked up to Portland.
Are you Michigonians?
Michigonians?
Yeah, Michigan.
Wisconsinites.
Michiganders?
Michiganders, yeah.
Okay.
And it's
So I was trying to. Wisconsinites.
Yeah. But yeah, Andy's from here, born and raised.
Ow.
It's not like I'm trying to talk about Andy. Shout out to Matt Mixon too if you're around. Stay safe in LA, my brother.
Stay safe in LA.
And there, so many of my friends are, Misery Signals, shout out to them. Great new record, by the way, guys. It's like debuted at #1 on everything in Spotify. It's like they took over Metallica. Those are my ex-bandmates. Kyle Johnson, what's up? I don't know if they're going to be on tour or what's going on, because I feel bad for rock and roll. We need rock and roll more than anything right now, guys, because...
Have you been out west, bro?
Not recently, no. Are there shows going on or something? Because, man, I'd hope so.
Big shows. Even if we want shows, we'll just say no one's allowed to come and it's a secret and everybody will show up. It's just that simple. Just make it exclusive. You got to be on the list. Tell everybody you're not on the list and make a line outside and just let them all in for $20 each. Just have a show.
Right. See, I don't know. I'm not in Milwaukee, and when I was in Milwaukee, I was right, in the heart of, like, literally probably 3 miles south of downtown, right on, like, the main drag, pretty much. And so I mean, like, you knew when things were going on, like when after the Floyd thing. No joke, I saw a video from my old window, and the entire I've never witnessed anything like that. Just peacefully marching, because Milwaukee wasn't actually a good example, as opposed to all the other cities, in my opinion, of being like a blue city, and not having assloads of violence. And also, shout out to our Black Lives Matter people for breaking up that house in not where was it? I think it was in the 53210. If I'm certain, I'm pretty sure it was the 53210. The house that the cops, they said there was child trafficking going on there. I'm sure you guys have heard about.
Yeah, I remember that. I saw that. I saw that on Twitter. Yeah.
Yep,
so what happened?
They busted the cops.
They busted this house where they were definitely doing all this total, like, child sex trafficking, human trafficking bullshit, and the citizenry just gathered up and started filming it all and interrogating and asking for questions, and the cops and all the lawyers and everything are trying to throw everything under the carpet and tell everybody to go away.
Oh, hell yeah.
Mobbed it. They fucking made sure it got broke up.
They mobbed it, and then the cops ended up lighting it on fire.
Oh, hell yeah!
Police burned it down, and then shot everybody with rubber bullets, and said that they were acting out of order and all. And I have videotape footage from multiple people that were there. Frank Nitty, what up, boy? I know these people. Like, they hang out the same recordings. Then you shut up.
That's what I was talking about. All that shit right there where you're at, man. There's a lot of that shit going down. I'll go back and do my...
So was it real? Do you guys think it was organic and real?
It
or
was real. It was real. Well, it was real. It wasn't like on the stage bullshit. It was real. It was a real house.
None of that going on.
Jim, you know how it is. And where we live up in Washington and Pacific Northwest, especially right where we're at, Yakima, Walla Walla Valley, Pasco, and all that shit. The way it goes is all the little Mexican gangs, they get guns and meth and crack and heroin dealing, and then on top of that, if they get a little trap house going or something, then they start trying to swoop up little 15, 13-year-old girls and pimp them out and shit.
Yeah, nieces and nephews, or not nephews, nieces and little sisters and...
That's that corridor. That what is it? I-5. That's the I-5 corridor, right? And then we got, for me, it's the I-94 corridor and I-35, where that meets up, where it goes from Chicago, rounds up to Milwaukee, and then goes through Madison, and then straight up to Minneapolis. That's like the #1. We're it's disgusting, but when that information came out, we find out we're the #1 most, like, with the most human sexual trafficking in the country.
Well, cartels need freeways too.
Huh?
We need freeways, and cartels need freeways too.
Right. I-35 is a mean corridor, man. Living in Austin and then going, like, just driving that. I've driven it so many times.
Grateful Dead said, right? Chicago, New York, Detroit, and it's all on the same street.
Yep.
It's true.
And I'm no Deadhead, because I can't stand them. But if you are, Sean, if you're a fan at all, you're not.
I listen to plenty of the Grateful Dead, but I don't call myself a big Grateful Dead fan.
Okay, cool. But you'll appreciate All Them Witches that much more. They're fans, but they're not. They're
good. I mean, from what you're playing.
I pay for Amazon Music. I just need to remember to add it to my list. I'll just go add the whole album, everything they got to my little list, and it'll roll in my
Can't go wrong. You cannot go wrong. You're gonna be super happy, man. I'm telling you, it's so good.
I was a little bummed that we couldn't play them.
I'm gonna do my own little just to keep my channel hot and, like, have something uploaded every day or whatever. I'm gonna do sing along with SB and just take that playlist.
That's what Jesse Hughes has been doing from Eagles of Death Metal. That's my boy. Shout out to Jesse. I haven't talked to him in forever. Shout out to Chris Goss too. Do you know Masters of Reality? SB.
I mean, I know. I don't know the
Sabbath
band. No.
title, but
I know.
they've been a band forever too. Chris Goss fronts it, and Ginger Baker was the drummer at one point, like in the 90s.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Trip.
Look them up. Masters of Reality. Sunrise on the Suffer Bus is the name of that. One of the most
He
famous
died
records.
just a couple years ago.
But get this. Chris, I'm efforting to get on the program as well. He's on the level. He's one of the few. He produced all the Kai's records.
Get a step ahead of what me and Jim did and actually write an actual schedule and start plugging people in. We did that, and then like 2 weeks later we had to fold the whole thing up. But we finally had a schedule. And I was like,
I feel like I've done that pretty much, right, Jim? I mean, like I'm on it every week with.
Oh yeah, you're on the track. Like you're right now. You're like
many people.
You're like way ahead of where we were a year in, as far as
Right, but I love the fact that you guys also
getting the stuff together.
We're just doing it, which was like more. It had like, and I hate the word organic because it's blown out.
Well, today was pretty organic. If you want to consider what most of Picture Show was like this.
That's what I'm trying to say, and that's the beauty of it. Whereas, and the punk rock beauty, I find it extra appeal for me, the extra aesthetic. But also at the same time, me wanting to do this with you and, struggling to find, like the right partner to do this, it was a year in the making pretty much. Do you know what I mean? Kind of thing. So it's like, I feel like, and then also that when the COVID crap, all that crazy stuff started breaking and I ended up with privy information, very, very privy, that we didn't even talk about that tonight. And that was like kind of what brought a lot of us together. That what Darren brought me and Darren together, actually, of all people. And then SB that led to Jim later on, but SB, I'd been in touch with you I think before.
You hit stuff. I just wasn't just now in a position to do anything, and I'm still really not ready.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be unpacking boxes for a year, man. But I'm gonna have to not try to do it all at once. I'm looking around if I can get a couple hours every day and I just gotta go a little bit at a time because I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah,
and
dude.
We just took everything and left and came and didn't sort or get rid of anything. So that's been our plan this whole time. You trying to pet his cat? I see that. You smuggled some good edibles into Wisconsin. Good job.
That was awesome. What so how did you? I don't know how much detail you want to get into. I was gonna ask you about your move, SB, or whatever. Like,
are you guys getting any video footage off of me or not?
Yeah, everything you're pointing at.
Yeah, can you see that there?
Yeah, but it's focused on your hand, but we see.
Move it away, or slow it down.
Oh, I see.
Are you?
There, now back up a little bit.
Are you shooting in?
There we go. Oh, look at that little. It's a boy, right?
What is that? Oh,
yeah,
it's a
boy.
It's a douche.
Yeah, that's my. I didn't realize I was backwards. You guys could have told me. I thought you were looking at my stupid face this whole time.
No,
I thought you were having a.
Logitech. You're doing an ad for Logitech.
That was on purpose.
I'm getting a feeling that David some edibles. Jim's been drinking beer off camera.
I ate those edibles when we started.
Oh.
Just to be a slow nice bell curve.
You guys just been looking at this speaker right here the whole time.
Oh no, that's.
Something off camera. I was like, he must be unpacking.
You always ask.
Thought maybe your makeup wasn't on or something. Just kidding.
I held this thing up, and I figured you'd say something. I figured Barski would say something. I held that thing up.
Wait a minute.
More light. Aziz, light.
Go in front. Go further up. I can't read.
Light, Aziz.
What the hell is that? The Stompbox Voice Live. What is that?
You got a Stompbox.
It's like the most amazing loop machine you can buy, almost.
It's not a harmonic. It's not a memory, man. Sorry.
It's TC Helicon.
TC Helicon. Okay.
shit.
I've had some
It's
of
like,
the
I had my girl running by it because I've been looking for a really good looper, and I've never done anything with loop shit. I'm gonna figure out how to put on a one-man show so that I can make some money on
Wait.
voices.
I
Good
can totally
idea.
help you out to save you a bunch of money on exactly what you need for pedals. You just tell me what you want to do, and I know exactly how to route it in my head and tell you what the cheapest, best, most, at least not cheapest. I'm saying the best, most efficient way to get what you need
Oh, I
done.
understand. Yeah, no, I'll tell you what's up. But
Dude.
I'm gonna start with this thing just to teach myself how to use it. But
Yep.
supposedly,
Crash course with a
Evan
roll.
never-
Sorry,
yeah.
I'd crash course
No,
with a rolling.
no. I'm gonna figure out a way. Have you seen these farmer drum boxes? You know what I'm talking about? It's like a drum set that's all just only like this big, and you can sit and play the whole thing with your feet and play your guitar and like play. You can be the drummer and the guitar player. It's called
I
a
think
farmer
I've seen
stomp box,
something
farmer
along
drum
those
stomp
lines.
box.
And I think I
Like
saw some crusty
$2,500
kid
or
using
something.
one. I think I saw
Yeah.
crusty kid using one, but I don't know if I've never seen
So,
one.
do you sit on it?
Our center.
No, Jim. It's just like it's got all these little places you hit it with your feet, and
Oh,
so you
different
can-
tones from every spot.
Yeah, it's got a snare drum and a bass drum and cymbals in there and everything.
Oh, it's
you can
electric.
play a whole drum kit just with your feet. So I mean, I'm good at playing and singing.
Wow,
So
cool.
songs.
Yeah, the limb
I was thinking
separation.
along with the loop. Yeah, along with the loop pedal, I could put the drums down and then just let it roll.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Put the rhythm
Well,
down and just let it roll, or the bass, and then just play over the top of it. Build my rhythm bed first, and then just play over the top of it.
You have to, yeah, exactly. What the best I'll tell you this from spending thousands and thousands and thousands of, not even exaggerating, of gear. I'm talking tens of, probably 20,000 worth of gear
I believe.
going through. Dude, no, but I trade up and trade in and trade up, and from the early, from probably 2004 through 2012 is when I really played with that, and then I went back to Flying Medusa, which was rock and roll. So I'm into guitar gear. But anyway, the point is this: the gear I went through, I found, like, I bought an MPC 1000 right when those came out, right? Like the Akai MPC. Everybody knows the MPC, Dr. Dre. You know, this is the best, whatever. But prior to me having that, I had a Roland Dr. Sample SP303. Now that's like an 8-pad,
Yeah.
little easy, right?
No,
Those
I
are the
mean,
shit.
those, yeah.
Okay. So now, mind you, I'd use that. Then I was like, oh, they got a SP555 that had just come out, which was dope. It was like a SP303, but with double the buttons and a few more cool little, features. I upped to that next, right? And then I was like, my wife at the time was like, yo, you're getting really good at this. It seems like you're really taking this. And I had turntable set up, and I was, DJ Shadow was all up in it. I'm all up in that. Not trying to be it, but just having fun, making new music instead of like heavy rock and roll. I'm making heavy funk and weird shit, right? And electronic, before EDM kind of stuff too. And then I was like, okay, she orders me the MPC 1000, right? Like when it comes out, and mind you, I had used the roll-ins and learned how to use them with no manuals, on the fly, kicking ass, right? It was like the instruction manual may as well have been written in Japanese. I'll leave it at that. Because it's literally like, because if you know the rolling setup and boss setup for, it's essentially that UI is like pretty universal, to Korg. Korg is a little closer to Akai, but you know what I'm saying? Like when you're messing with this stuff, it's super important to be able to know what this word means. Transport it's gonna be labeled transport on one and play on another button. It's, you know what I mean, another system. So long story shorter, I'm hoping here. Point is, to save you thousands of dollars, I would like the Akai was the worst decision I ever made, or she ever made. $1,000. I ended up getting rid of it and getting another Roland piece, you know what I mean, and just learning more and adding more to my array. But it seems to be like you can save a good amount of money. I don't know how familiar with you are, versed you are, as being like any of like beat making stuff from ground up. Using it as software is fun too, and bringing that in. But I don't know. I know I'm kind of on that tangent now, but
I haven't done it since like 1997, so I'm not versed in it at all.
Eight
Back in the day. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so the step sequence, or that way. You can do it that way, so with the 16 and all that. So yeah, you're already ahead of the game. If you stick with, like, TC Helicon, I'm pretty sure I had one rack mount unit. for theirs just as like an awesome delay kit. Like it had a really good delay, digital delay. They have a good tape delay too, I think, for rack mount stuff. But blah blah blah. It seems to me like to get all that stuff you want to get, kind of, and to get a fat good sound, like the Roland, that 555. If you can find one of those, I'm sure would be like stellar, perfect price wise too. It fell right in that nice pocket of like 250, 200.
Yeah. This thing, the reason I grabbed it, that thing I just showed you, and it's going to be a steep learning curve because I know it's a complicated son of a bitch, and I've never done loop shit. But usually they're like $700, and it was on the Facebook over here in Boise for like $400. I just told my girl, just go buy the fucking thing because it's it's brand new.
SB, is it guitar box? Is it a guitar pedal essentially?
No, it's like a vocal and loop pedal.
So XLR ins, right? XLR.
Yeah. It's got XLR ins. It's got a MIDI in and out. It's got regular 1/4 inch, and it's got a mic separate line in.
Okay.
So
does it have USB out, or does it have anything for computer?
Yeah, it's got USB right.
So there's
got
to be updates that, so that's good. Hopefully.
But this thing's brand new. I mean, as far as like it's a new thing. Voice Live 3 Extreme is like not. I tried to look up Voice Live 4 to see if there was a new one. There's not. So this is the most recent
Mark 3 MK3. Okay, cool. So it's the third version or whatever of it.
Yeah.
So around
what I think it tripped me out is that like, okay, it definitely does everything I would ever want to do to have a really sophisticated loop pedal. Like it'll store 45 tracks for me and everything, and it'll record long
kilohertz. Right.
But on top of that, it does all of this voice emulation and harmony simulation and vocal stuff that I don't know anything about. So to me, that's just cool because like if I could program it to play 3 and 4, 5 part harmony,
you can.
If I can sing it to the mic and it gives me a fucking barbershop quartet, then I'm all about it.
Create really you can do all kinds of fun stuff. Yeah,
start playing "Everything Means Nothing to Me" by Elliott Smith.
Thank you, dude. That's so. That's like I'm in the clouds, and let me hear "Because" while I'm at it. Or wait, is that the name of the song? Yeah, the Beatles cover.
Beatles song.
Throw that in there, because damn, that cover's amazing.
Jim,
so good.
I'm listening.
His eyes glazed over when you said Elliott Smith in here.
I had you guys both like in a panel, and it doesn't want to go back. Now I got Barski huge or Jim in a little tiny circle.
I can't
go up to the very top, and there's 3 buttons on the right side. It's the
that's what I pushed.
Third one, or the one on this side.
The hamburger next to Weaving Spider. Oops.
I just turned off my Bluetooth. Now I can't hear you guys. Good job, SB.
Don't go fucking with the settings now. You just gotta deal with it.
Oh, now it says JM. Yeah, I don't know. I'm giving up.
Skype is stupid.
It really is.
It's like I logged in on this laptop on this MacBook, and it didn't have the same of the iMac, which I'd normally hosted on. I logged in as Record High at iCloud and Skype, and it had me as a different name on this computer as it did for that one. It has none of my contacts, so Jim's not there since I didn't use this forever for Skype. So it's I've only used. It doesn't make sense. It's like all my contacts are gone because I changed computers. That's absurd. Do you guys have an issue ever or no?
What's that?
I don't have any of my normal.
I've had that issue described every time I use Skype, but I finally have it logged in as the identical account on all devices, and now it works consistent finally. But what you described, maybe you landed in a second Skype account that you didn't even know you had. Like you got 2 different.
I think that's what was happening to me earlier.
It asked me to use my. You don't have a profile thing. A profile picture. I'm like, yes, I do. It's the horse. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, you were. Oh man.
It's like it wasn't there. I had to drag it in there. Like, well, they're not gonna know it's me unless it's the horse. That horse that's been the greatest meme. Man.
Yeah, we'll have to get the whole show about the horse.
By the way, you guys, that meme Jim made. The 7-Eleven was a part-time job. That has gotten me. I have like 900 followers on Instagram and shit.
Oh yeah, you put it on there?
People, text people too on Instagram. That's the funny thing. Like they're like I know almost all of them. So and that got tons of likes and like oh
Nice.
shit. I'm like yep.
Yeah, your meme game is blowing up, Jim. And lots of people have fallen in love with a lot of your memes.
Seriously, man.
Well, thanks. I think I'm shadow banned as far as some things go because I don't know. Like I made a few memes with Joe Biden, like doing some sniffing, and I have a PixArt account, and so sometimes I make all of my stickers available when I cut out a person's head or like whatever to glue onto another picture. And I've got some Biden stickers that are just blowing up right now. Like,
That's funny.
where he's like doing a sniff, like a snizzle sniff.
I need to go. I've got so much shit I've done on PixArt, and I've fucking kept it all private and on my phone. And I almost lost, or I actually did lose quite a bit of shit because my phone just like went blank on me. And
it sucks.
Like I almost fucking cried, bro.
Sucks, man.
My boy were looking at me like, "Are you gonna be okay?" And like I actually went and forced my phone to recoup everything from its cache, and it's like all this stupid shit. And so I had to go through literally 10,000 pictures and choose the ones that I wanted to keep.
Oh no!
Oh man.
It's crazy. It was on July 5th too, which is funny because that's like my ex's birthday and my anniversary of when I asked my girl to marry me.
Jeez.
As a total coincidence, like I realized like 2 years in a row we had like celebrated that day somehow, and then I asked her to marry me, and then the next year I was like, oh my god, this is my ex's birthday, like a big subtle subconscious fuck you.
Yeah,
Right.
Archons, man.
Straight up.
Yeah.
And
Pushing
speaking
ya.
of Archons, real quick in the chat, it says we still got some people with us, but in the chat, all of Teenage FBI shit's gone. You know what that is, right?
We've jumped on and off a few times, so it might be like.
No. It ain't that.
Oh, some people
it's one of our
Yeah.
blue wrenches.
No, some people remove their shit after.
No,
words.
Jim. No, not this one. This is. I don't know if it's Schoenberger or what.
No, you know what? When I was doing the other show,
You know, SP.
Arc's Only Picture Show, it would be.
I know the name, and I know a little tiny bit about. I know Homeboy's got a hella legal shit against him because I've seen all the screen caps and shit. But
Yeah.
other than that, I just know that he was involved in the 10,000,001 LARPs between fucking Quinn Michaels and fucking DeFango and Steve Outram and all this fucking LARP city for 10 million years down the fucking rabbit hole. And, you know.
Yep. So
I always avoid that shit because I didn't want to get sucked into it. And I know that Lee Veltman seems to be on top of it in a way. Because I listened to his shit with your homeboy that was on earlier.
Lee was on with us last week too, yeah.
Lee was here all day in the chat, or all night in the chat also.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I
And
know,
Lee's
I know
friends.
they're on top of it. And the way Lee talks, I trust him because he sounds like one of these straight up dudes that's just dumb enough to actually follow every single thing.
And he can't help it. He wants to destroy it.
Yeah. It's like, all right, I'm gonna tag every one of you guys to everything you've ever done, and I'm gonna hold your feet on fire for the rest of my life, even if you kill me.
Thank God for people like Lee. I'm not kidding. You're spot on, SB. Spot on with that assessment.
I can hear it. I avoid it because I don't want to be that guy because it would be us fucking falling off a cliff on fire and me.
I ain't dying on that hill.
Yeah.
I should do. I can't be I can't be tagging LARPs like.
If your brain works like that, more power to you. You're using it. If you're using it that way, then fine. As long as you're taking people down and doing it in a manner of, you know what I mean. Then hey, my brain just doesn't work like that. No, I know. I know. Totally. But I get it. I just can't. My brain. I wish sometimes it worked like that, and I'm glad a lot of the time it doesn't. So.
Be glad.
Yeah. But that's
if your brain worked any different, then you wouldn't be you. So
there you go.
I appreciate the way
bringing it back around.
The way your brain works.
Oh man.
Got a nice little drawing for you guys. There's a little Bohemian Pow-wow 1. There's a right side up pentagram, and it says, "Where's David Koresh?"
Brilliant.
Yes.
Barski and a weird star, and it says Racing Mission. We got it.
And it was the Sacramento mission. That's the funny thing.
I know. That was
All right,
my
cool,
joke.
cool. All right, it's even better. Yes.
Shut up, and we'll take you to the Racing Mission, and you'll have to find the right time to run away, shotgun boy.
Oh my God, dude. That's amazing. Oh my God, dude. What about? Okay, so I went to submit the audio only, right, for the podcast, and I used the artwork, Sean. And it went fine for Spotify, right? But then it still is up as the main, because I want it to be the main artwork. But then I get an email about 10:45 last night saying, yeah, we're not going to be able to submit. It's probably going to be denied by Apple for this reason. And then underneath, I was like, shit, that music in the beginning got pegged? No, that doesn't make sense because it went up too fast to Spotify. So I'm like, what is it? I open it up and it says, I used too generic of artwork, but it must have been reading a different, I must have put it in the wrong place.
I think that it just...
I was like, well, that's funny. They're trying to rip on SB and they must really hate him.
I think it was because they thought it was like somebody else's, like you just grab something off the internet because like it looked cool, because like it's like a really cool professional looking piece, you know? The brother's like, oh, he didn't make that. He's stealing that.
Right, stealing it, yeah.
Well, it's just because it's Apple, because Apple knows I don't jive with their bullshit.
So I think what it is, SB, is I think I gotta change the DPI or I have to save the JPEG as like a higher.
Lower, make it lower so it's not.
I want this to go. I want this to be heard. So
yeah, make it better. Yeah.
Yeah, drop it right off. If you want me, I can go. I can just write "weaving spiders welcome here" in a circle on a piece of lined paper and take a picture of that, and we'll see if that'll fly.
That would be awesome.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
If it is a PNG or a raw, get a DSLR. If it is a raw file.
No, my phone will shoot raw. I'm afraid to change it over. I don't have a card in it right now, and I already saved so much shit, as Jim could attest to. Like I fucking have a gajillion pictures and 50 million iterations of every piece of art I make. Like there's probably 13 more versions of that logo before I sent you one, because I save every draft.
I understand what you mean with that.
And so, eventually I'm gonna go buy like $100 mini SD card, and stick in this phone, and then switch it over to only raw. To me,
I got an extra one right here, 64, Jim. What's your address? I'll send it. I don't need it. No, seriously. I can do it, I'm sure. But yeah, it's like sending out. What kind of phone do you have, by the way? Or do you use? What do you prefer, Android?
Yeah.
Galaxy?
Note 10 Plus, yeah. Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus. It's
because I'm in the market. I'm in the market.
Get one, man, especially if you draw pictures.
I'm an iPhone person, bro. For so many years, I don't like.
Then just stick with it. Don't change.
I know.
I talked my girlfriend into it because we got these buy one get one free, and she's just being a sweetheart, acting like she likes it. She fucking hates it.
You get it. It's nothing personal. You know, it's like you can't. It's
she
so.
Once in a while, she'll let it slip. She'll be like, "I fucking hate this one." Like, I know. You can ask me more questions. I'm sorry. What I'm tempted to do, because I know I'm going to go in production all the time, is I want to go ahead and say fuck it and add another line and just get her the iPhone, and then I'll have 2 Note 10 Pluses, because I'll be in production and one's running time and I'm burning it up, and it's like I have to be uploading for fucking 6 hours. Then I can take the other one and use it and have one as
win, dude.
Personal line. But I haven't used her on that yet. Luckily, she's not watching the podcast yet.
Sean, I meant to ask you real quick. I'm in the market because I got to get a new one. Is the camera better? The only Android I would get would be I'm a Sony person. Like that's my gear. I like a PlayStation, whatever. But like the Sony, like I've always used Sony over-the-ear headphones. I don't care, as monitors. I've always used, and they're great. Plus, if I were to get an Android, it seems that there's Vio. I don't know if it's not Sony Vio. That's a computer line.
I've got a pink Sony Vio laptop. I call it my JLo laptop. It's so beautiful.
I'm sure it's
that laptop is booty.
Xerpias. XCR, is that it? Their phones? Whatever their line of phones are.
What? I don't remember what Sony does for phones. I just do the Samsung Galaxy stuff.
Their
man, because it's
cameras,
so
dude,
much
in the
better.
phones, bro, are
Cam-
nuts in the Sony.
camera's better. The camera, the Samsung camera is the reason the iPhone had to go so nuts out on their 4
why-
cameras, because Galaxy's
It's
just
what's the megapixel
destroyed
on
them.
the new one? What's the megapixel
Yeah,
on your?
yeah. I don't even remember. It's a lot. It's asinine. I don't remember.
Because the
I don't
new
know if I
one
can-
is what 16. All right. I almost typed asinine into my search bar. Because the Apple iPhone 12 just is getting announced. I understand. I think it's coming out in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, then I can wait a little bit and get it. You know what I mean? Get the next iPhone for cheaper, you know, which I need to do. I mean, it's getting obnoxious here. So I'm gonna look at the megapixels that are standard right now. The SE is a dope phone. I want a physical button. See, I'm one of those people. It's like I want a headphone jack too. You jerks. You
Yeah,
know?
I know.
Yeah,
Bring
can't-
it out.
The fucking
That
not
angered
many
me.
just got
No.
one special little.
It's
I went
actually
and bought these I'm wearing right now because of it. Like I went and bought nice Bluetooth JBL headphones. I haven't spent $150 on a pair of headphones for fucking 10 years.
Seriously, man.
Yeah.
And
But they're
also,
nice.
They look
got
nice.
noise cancellation, and they're so fucking. They cancel the noise so well. I was like, it'll be nice. If I don't remember to turn the noise cancellation off, I can't hear anything. Like my girl standing right in front of me, she's like, "Blah, blah, 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 blah." It sounds like
Yeah, but
Charlie Brown or
that's
something.
music. That's what makes me angry when I'm listening to music. I want to hear all the nuances. Do you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
like,
me
I
too.
want-
That's why I bought them, because I'm gonna use them. But it's just like, oh my god, what have I done to myself? Now I can't hear anything. I have to turn it off. The feature I paid the extra $100 for, I'm turning
Exactly.
it off. You know.
we're gonna be not using it. Yeah, exactly. That's one of the things. It's like when I bought my last laptop, which was a PC, and I was working in Austin for like the last fun. I think it was fest. And I remember I was like, oh, I gotta get a computer. I need a laptop. I'm gonna be here for another 4 days. I got other stuff to do. So I go to Best Buy, and I had like an $800 gift card, you know, from like taking a Mac back that I wasn't happy with a MacBook or something. I was like, well, I'll just use this for this. I found they kept trying to, this is 2013, mind you. They kept trying to sell me a touchscreen, Jim, with no CD-ROM, right? And I'm like, no, I want to be able to still burn shit, just in case I have to, for whatever, but I don't want a touch screen. They're like, well, that's going to be impossible. I'm like, no, it's not, because, they're like, why don't you want a touch screen? I'm like, because it's a touch screen. If it goes down, then what am I like, I just don't want an extra something to go wrong here. I want the guts of a Mac in a plastic shell, which is, I know you can provide me, do you know what I'm saying? Like, just make it simple. So I did. I ended up getting a HP 2000 Pavilion, whatever, just like the most basic shit, right, for $500 on sale. And it's still to this day sitting over there. There's never been nothing, and there's places I've been on that computer that should have eaten it alive. You know what I mean? And I have nothing wrong. It runs like a champ. I have no idea why or how. It's Windows 8.1, and it's fantastic. So I guess
Okay, you guys
knowing
want to do something special for the end of your episode? Here, I'll do something special for you. Okay, we're gonna do a live unboxing.
Oh, nice!
boxing.
Yeah!
All right,
See, I've always been a big fan of those touchscreen computers,
So
kind of.
Let's see here. Can you guys see me or not? Should I change the camera to a different angle?
Yeah.
See your head.
Let's see. How about like that?
This is exciting. Are you ready, Scratch? This is Scratch, if you can see him.
Box. I bought this thing like 3 weeks ago and I haven't opened it.
Jones.
Oh, there's another box. I love it when there's another box.
Oh,
Yes.
it's exciting.
There's the second box. What's it say?
Unboxing!
Don't be a broken box.
It says Ecom Smuttus. It says Surface Book 3 15-inch 16 gigabyte. It's
Oh.
250.
Yeah.
What did you find that off of? I mean, what parking lot?
I got this free for ratting on people who didn't wear masks.
Thank you, Dr. Fauci.
There's a third box.
That thing's gorgeous, man.
And
man.
Billionaire
It's
Gates.
sexy. That's
Live
a
unboxing.
sexy
See-
machine.
Can you see the picture? How it separates?
Wow.
This is like Microsoft's version of a MacBook, only it separates the tablet from the.
Hell
From
to
the
the keyboarder. That isn't.
Yeah, this is.
Mm.
Yeah, so
I
let's
see
look
a-
at
I see
the
a side pocket card holder. Oh,
Yeah, this is.
better have.
Looking
15
straws.
USB-Cs.
Nothing, it's gonna have an adapter that. Okay, how's this?
This is exciting.
So,
You better take it back if it ain't got them USB-C ports.
oh my God, the packaging is like you really spent some money with us. Here, have some real.
It's
basket style. Yep.
you know you made a good choice if the packaging is good.
That's heavy, man. That's heavy. How
Look
much
at
that
that.
weigh? Hey, how many kilograms that?
That's, I don't know. I don't have a scale. I can't. I gotta be honest.
Yeah, I got my scale. Hold up.
Wow, that's nice. Wait, I'm gonna. Maybe we can make you big here. Let's see. We'll
Maybe
go.
we can. Man, you can probably extract it, Jim.
I can't over here on my end.
Amazonia.
Watch this.
I was
Boom.
trying to see.
Let's
I've never
monetize
tried-
this up, guys. Come on, look at SB.
Speaker view.
It's
Cam.
a third
I'll
profits.
move over
Come on,
here.
guys. Look
I've
at
never
that.
turned it on before. I don't know how to turn it on.
Face. Look at that. That's Supreme right there. That's Supreme. And it ain't cost
Yeah.
$300 for no shirt. That's Supreme clientele.
Oh, that's another thing. I got a.
What's
Hey,
up with
Barski, do you follow the Hypernova group stuff on? How do you
Did
turn
for a
movies
minute,
on?
I did it, but I'm not OG enough to have that kind of money. I mean, I got my Jordans in the garage still in the box. I'm not even kidding, but that's okay.
I'm in there, bro. I bought a membership before they blew up.
Dude, I need,
I got a lifetime membership to Hypernova group.
bro.
There's no power button. I don't know where the
I'm
power
gonna need
button.
some Jordans. I'm gonna need some Jordans at some point. So-
Am I gonna have to look it up on my phone to figure out how to power this thing on?
John, I'm not
hilarious.
kidding. I'm gonna need some Jordans.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah.
call-
Well, we just have to
I
get in
need them.
Yeah, no, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
I need your Cash App, your Bitcoin wallet. If you mess with any of that.
Oh, I know that button just connects the thing. Page up, page down, end, home, delete.
Hey, I got Bill Gates. I got Ball Gates right here on line 3. He could probably tell you.
Yeah, how do you turn on the? I shouldn't have to look it up on my phone to figure out how to. Oh, I bet you that's my. That's probably my battery or something.
Yeah.
I
Probably
always
put.
isn't out yet.
I bet putting the battery is a good idea. Oh no, that's a charger. Okay, good. I'm gonna need that.
What kind of charger we got with that?
It's a nice little charger. Let's see here.
A brick or no?
Yeah, a little
Okay.
tiny brick.
Alright, that looks flammable proof.
It looks alright.
I trust
This
it.
thing might not be charged. I was just wondering how the hell to turn it on. I was gonna see if it would come on out of the box. That's all the same set here. That's it. That's funny. They don't even send no books or nothing. You're on the internet, fool.
Like you know what to do.
You better hook Obama net. Shit, you ain't got no internet. You ain't got that Obama net.
Obama net.
It's like the Obama phone, bro. You didn't hear about it? So
I'm
you
laughing at myself. I'm missing something.
you hear about that new Obama net utility they ushered in the last stimulus bill? I wish.
No.
Obama net.
And for everybody, let me take all your data. Let me
Internet
take
for
all your.
everybody.
That's dope, Sean.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, but there it was. The live unboxing. I can't even turn it on. I was gonna turn it on, but I guess that's it.
I'd buy it on that alone. Just that's it right there.
Did I say Surface 3? Is that what I bought?
Yep. Aren't they at what? Down right now.
Yeah, Surface Book 3. This
Is that a
thing's
hyper
crazy.
or no?
What's that?
Is that a hypernova purchase or no?
No, man. We just went and all upgraded since we're moving to Newtown. And my boy, actually, because he upgraded, I bought his desktop, which is actually pretty fast and sophisticated. And it's also got an SSD. So to me, this is like my video production, everything I need to do. Because if I could turn it on, I push this little button right here. This touchscreen completely separates from the keyboard.
Yeah, it's dope. I was
It's
thinking about
just a
getting
huge tablet all by itself.
So wait,
And,
what
so
are the
figure
specs?
that's-
Sean, what are the specs? Because I'm literally I'm thinking about getting something along those lines, but I don't want to get a iPad Pro
I
because
haven't memorized because I mean it's what I wanted. I put it. The specs are on the outside of that smaller box. Here, I'll read it to you.
so how many gigs and how much RAM?
So what I bought was, and this is pretty up there, man. This was
15-inch, 16 gigabyte, 256 SSD.
Okay, that's solid.
So that's it's pretty banging, man. You know, to go one click up from this was like almost $3,000. You know what I mean? Like,
Really?
if you went to the next level up from this thing, it was like, oh damn. Well, I'm not already making $1,000 a month, so I can't really excuse that one. So,
dude, what was
but I'm
it?
excited.
That's exciting. I love computers. New computers, especially.
I know.
I think this thing was about $2,000.
Wow.
Something like that.
I used to get them from Best Buy when I'd get a new computer. I would get like, remember the Packard Bell days, all that. When, you know, Windows 98, it was going whatever. They'd turn it over super fast. You know how fast. But
Yeah.
Best Buy here had a thing where if you took it back 3 times, you automatically it was deemed a lemon, and you would automatically get whatever you initially spent on the first computer on that receipt within 3 years. You could get whatever you paid for the 3rd time being ruined. You know, it was sent and be deemed, no, this is, you know, too much to fix.
Yeah, with the limit.
They give you credit. I did that, no joke. Sabotaging it, obviously. I'd be like, this is time for me. I need a new computer anyway. It's time.
Yeah.
I would walk to the circuit. I just mess with the motherboard, like pluck out stuff, and just like, so it would take them a long time. It's gonna take you forever, number one, to find the problem, because
Yeah.
A isn't to X.
And they're like, okay, we'll upgrade it.
Sabotage the motherboard.
Thank
It's gonna be hard to figure it out.
So they give up so fast, right? So that was my thing. They give up so fast that I'd be like, well, I'll have a new computer. I don't know. It's going to take about a month because they have to send it. I'd be like, no, this is going to take 2 days because it's as quick as they get it. They're like, screw this. It's dead. Give them credit. So yeah, I keep myself in a new computer for 12 years. I kept myself in a new computer with that scam.
12 years, that's awesome.
Yeah, man. Never did I ever. I mean, like, it would just keep getting the credit, then keep sabotaging it sometimes after 2 years, sometimes after a year and a half. If I really wanted something. I had that shit on lock. It was great. I mean,
No,
just
of course. So what you know, I mean, that's the most punk rock. That's proof without me hearing any of your music that you're absolutely true blue punk rock.
Oh, well, there's that. That's just my blood.
That's it.
That's my DNA.
Yeah.
All right.
That's what makes someone punk rock anyway. It's not like because I was always heavy metal. We were never punk rockers. You know? It took us a while to get like a good relationship with the punk rock.
Yeah,
when we were young. Yeah, we were all arch enemies. You know, like you guys don't know how to fucking play your shit. You just play the same 3 chords. You just kind of express yourselves.
Thank God that Andreas Kisser had a fucking Dead Kennedy sticker on his guitar, though, right? And also,
yeah.
I mean, I have like my brain like beneath.
Who is that? Is that Sepultura?
Yeah, I was there. I had to think about that for a minute. I wasn't like, I'm not gonna do Paulo. Paulo Jr. Used to make fun of that name all the time because it's just like Paulo Jr. Yeah, what good are you, bass player?
I thought you know who plays bass for Max Cavalera now is his kid.
I want to know. It'll ruin it for me. I can't stand that shit. When it went all new metal, Sean, I left very head down.
Too.
Like I saw
metal sucks.
When Fred Durst came on the Soulfly record, I was very angry.
Hey guys, I'm gonna have to call it here now for me, but you guys can continue your conversation if you would like to.
We will, maybe.
Or whatever.
All right. Bye, guys. We love you all, and we're professional.
And we're professional.
Sign off, guys, and a sign on. So anybody who's hearing this or viewing this currently, pitch in. We'll consider it. We may give you credit for it. We need a sign off and a sign on, but we're professionals seems pretty legit right now.
I think it's we're professionals. That's pretty hard. That's pretty hard.
Wait, so you're saying sign off for the whole show is like, hey, thanks for tuning in this week on on Little Bohemian Pow-wow #1 with Spinning Spiders Sweetness. I can't remember what the hell the show's
go.
called. What's it called? Waving Spiders Welcome Here. Let me try that again. Hey, thanks again for tuning in this week with the little Bohemian Pow-wow #1. Coming to you live on which platforms? You got many platforms you guys on?
YouTube.
Only that one.
Coming to you live on YouTube with Weaving Spiders Welcome Here. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and we're professionals. Something like that, you mean? Like,
And we're professionals.
Yeah,
we're professionals.
because it's serious. So, yeah, something along those lines.
We're professionals because it's serious. It's pretty good. You might be getting some over that.
Yeah,
We're professionals because it's serious.
Because it's serious.
yeah, that's it. You nailed it. And we're professionals. This is serious.
It's got to be because we're professionals. It's serious.
Because it's serious. All right, well,
Hey, you
goodbye.
are catching this live. Hey, this is after. This is
All right,
BTS.
Jimmy,
BTS.
hey,
Hey,
I
this is the
appreciate you guys.
Patreon
Let's
shit
jump
right here,
back
guys.
in.
Patreon.
I gotta go, too.
This is goodbye. Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
All right,
All right.
we're out.
End of the broadcast. Yeah, we're
Anything
done.
you want to say? How do you feel?
We're good show. Good show. Glad we finally got everything fixed so that we can. I mean, hopefully it'll work next week without all this bullshit.
Yeah, we'll rip again. We'll just keep ripping all week till everything is just shredded.
Absolutely. We're gonna. I think I want to.
do anything else.
We should meet up later in the week and we'll work out all the bugs so we can multicast